Gaming news today is all about more bad news for Xbox fans. First, the Witcher 4 devs have spoken about the game's aspirations with respect to performance, and the Xbox Series S is once again part of the conversation. Second, we have more bad news that Game Pass is likely to get an increase, and this is on the heels of all of the Xbox hardware and game prices going up. And the actual question then was, where is this information coming from and how soon will it happen? Third, the price of the Xbox handheld was leaked, and those that were hoping this would be on the lower end of the price spectrum will not like what they are hearing. And as always, I do have a game for your wish list and your radar. So if you guys are watching this later, if you're watching this as a past broadcast, I appreciate you so much supporting the channel. Make sure you're hitting the like button. If you're here in the live stream right now, hitting that like button helps out. And if you want to support the channel directly and get access to morning coffee and the green room and Friday night streams with my wife, those are things for members. For $6 a month, you get into all of that extra content, and it does support me. Twitch, same deal, but when you sub on Twitch, you will never see ads. So consider supporting the channel directly. All right, let's get into this. There's a lot to talk about. Well, the list of games having an issue with the Xbox Series S continues to stack up, and this time it's a game that doesn't even have a release date yet. You may have seen a lot of conversation about The Witcher 4 and the tech demo that they showcased at the State of Unreal event. Much debate about showing what was simply a tech demo made many think that it was gameplay, and there was a lot of argumentation about that. Now, in the wake of all of that, interest in the game's target performance has cropped up, and according to Insider Gaming, The Witcher 4 is aiming at 60 FPS on consoles, but the Series S will be extremely challenging. When specifically asked about the Xbox Series S and 60 FPS, they said the following: I will say that 60 FPS will definitely be extremely challenging on the Series S. Let's just say that this is something that we need to go and figure out. Now, obviously, this doesn't sound very promising, and as is typical with the hardcore Xbox fans, many were quick to take shots at CD Projekt Red, recounting how poorly Cyberpunk released. I'm not really sure why Phil Spencer, an Xbox spokesperson, and even the most loyal Xbox fans seem to think that passively blaming the devs is the best approach here, but here we are. Another dev is speaking honestly about the power limitations of the Series S, and with most of us simply sort of accepting that as part of the context at this point, others think it is more, combative to be, I think, about this, and that's the appropriate approach to take. Well, where do you land on this? Is it on the devs to figure out how to get their games running at 60 FPS on the Series S, or does this fall on Microsoft's choice to make a weaker console this gen? Let me know in the comments below what you think, or you can come discuss it in a live stream. Now, other not great news for fans of Xbox pertaining to Game Pass. Just when you thought the price increases had subsided, new info seems to indicate that Xbox Game Pass will be getting another price hike soon. Windows Central recently reported that a new string of code was discovered titled Subscription Price Increase, and it was in the notification type of the code. This could just be some sort of update to the code, to make sure if future subscription price increases, they've got something there. But given that earlier in the year we heard price increases were coming to Game Pass, this is probably being done in preparation for that. Windows Central said that, quote, it's not a stretch to think that an Xbox Game Pass price increase is imminent, given the fact that Microsoft decided now would be a good time to necessitate such a notification type. And it is honestly hard to disagree with that. What do you think? And just how high can they take the price of Game Pass before you stop feeling that it's worth it? Let me know in the comments below, or you can come discuss it in a live stream. And the theme of Xbox continues as the handheld is in the mix one more time. Well, the Xbox handheld announcement hasn't landed with a bang, but with a lot of confusion. In the days that followed the announcement, questions arose about how many Xbox games you'd be able to play on it, and also confusion about hearing that the Xbox handheld was canceled and they just announced one. And now the price has seemingly leaked. So just to clear things up, the Xbox ROG Ally will not play all of your Xbox games, making it way less of an Xbox and more of another ROG Ally. And the canceled Xbox handheld is not this ROG Ally, it is the one that Xbox was going to make themselves, and sources are claiming that it has been canceled. Now, the price is quite a bit higher than some folks were hoping. According to reliable insider Ecstasis and Insider Gaming, the Xbox Ally X will retail for €899, while the lower price Xbox Ally will cost €599. Now, $899 is roughly $1,000 in US, so that's what a lot of us saw this landing on. It's going to be in the similar price thresholds of other handhelds like it. Now, what do you think about the device now that the dust has settled and you know more about it and we seemingly know the price? A ROG Ally with an Xbox button that won't play all of your Xbox games for roughly $1,000. Do you want one, or are you going to pass? Let me know in the comments below, or you can come discuss it in a live stream. And now I've got a game for your wish list and your radar, and I'm happy to say this one even has some hands-on previews. If this game is not on your wish list or radar, I think that it should be. Lego Party was one of the pleasant surprises during Summer Game Fest, taking clear cues from the classic Mario Party format, but with Legos. And we already have hands-on previews rolling in. Mike Straw from Insider Gaming said that to say he was impressed would be an understatement, and that the Lego Party booth was the loudest and the most active among the games shown. Well, be sure to put this one on your wish list and radar if it's already getting good previews and people already seemed to enjoy it. It is set to release sometime in 2025 for PlayStation 5 and 4, Xbox current and old gen, Nintendo Switch, and PC. And that is the show open. Thank you guys so much for being here. Be sure to go through the ritual of hitting the like button on YouTube. And I've already got some crazy people to thank for supporting the channel directly. Be sure that we get us that first 100 likes. That does help out the video. It helps us find more folks. And I've got some new music. It should be playing for you guys. And then I'm going to take the show open here, and I'm going to drop it in there. So if you guys ever see those videos from the open, if you ever see those, hanging out in the shorts feed, give them a like and a comment. I try to reply to as many comments as I can. We will be playing Rematch today. I was gonna do an upload about Mind's Eye. That is going to come tomorrow. We want to take our time with that one. I put a lot of work and research into that one because I think it's a bigger story than just about the game itself. And we will definitely be wanting to share that video with you tomorrow. But today in the afternoon, we'll be checking out Rematch. If you pre-order the game and you buy like their higher levels of editions or something like that, you can get in early access. We'll be checking that out. So I have some people to thank, and we have a Member Plus renewal from MTO and Voyager, and we need to add those to the total. And this week's going to be a little bit different because Madam's not going to be here on Friday night, so it is just going to be me. We'll think of some fun incentives, maybe like a Rematch community game night or something, and then obviously more music. I've got a ton more music that we didn't even get to this last Friday because we didn't hit any. We only hit one of the stretch goals. So we will be doing more of that this Friday. I've got even another one this morning that turned out really well. And a 50 bomb from MASH to start the week. I got to thank him as if he just did it because this absolute lunatic did it while I was doing my show open. Thank you so much, MASH. Making it to where the lead that Twitch has evaporates just like that. And then Mike on the mic with 39 months. Yo, people, another month of great content. Much love. Thank you, Mike on the mic. And then a gifted from Joker Quinn and a gifted from DK Bager, the single gifted kings over there, taking their turn. And that bumps us to 91. To already almost be at 100. And the day is just getting started. You guys are absolutely insane. Hang on, this should be 62 because that's going to end up being a 92. So, and another renewal comes in from OG DSB. Thank you so much for doing a Member Plus renewal. And I messed that up. I keep messing up the typing this morning. Sorry. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Thank you for the first 100 likes. Thanks for everybody hanging out on Twitch. Thanks for everybody hanging out on YouTube as well. Let's see what y'all are saying. This is Mash's channel. He does what he wants. That's right. He gifts whenever he pleases. I can't wait to play Lego Party with my nieces and nephews. My son's not old enough to enjoy it. He can only run around the open world. We've been playing the new Mario Party Jamboree on the Switch too. That's been enjoyable. And so I'm always looking forward to, new ones. So I do owe 5 members of Twitch, and then I owe whatever in the world. I owe 10. I owe 10 to YouTube. So I will take care of that right now so that I don't forget. So thank you guys so much. The discounts on gifteds over there on Twitch is no longer happening. So make sure you don't do singles over there. I think it's more expensive if you gift a single. If you're going to do a single, maybe save up and then do 5 at a time because you end up saving money doing it that way. Happy Father's Day. Oh, thank you. We got back from church and they had surprised me with a grill. It was in my it was in the garage, and our neighbors who live across the street, he put it in there for me, and it was waiting for me when I got back. So that was awesome. My wife was very sneaky. She snuck the garage clicker over to them in the morning. So it saves you like $10 doing a 5. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a bummer to like have to dissuade people from doing single gifteds on Twitch. It literally is more expensive. It's $6 instead of 5. So I think it's rough for Final Fantasy on Xbox, says Mash. Many of us on Xbox haven't played many Final Fantasies, if any, and it was made clear a long time ago that if you are in JRPGs, you're going to play them on PlayStation or Nintendo. Yeah, I got a couple people thank here. Hotshot with 26 months says, here's another renewal in 2 years. Already flies. Time flies, says Lord Horgan. Victor, I was actually thinking about you, Victor. I was like, I don't feel like I've seen Victor in a while. Victor with 49 months in a VIP. Thank you so much. And we are exactly a 5-bomb away from 100. Whoops, I messed that up. We are exactly a 5-bomb away from 100. This is your chance to steal it, Twitch. This is a perfect opportunity to steal it away from YouTube. A 5-bomb. Whoever makes it hit 100, I owe your platform 5 members. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, Mash, we were talking about that a little bit this morning. It's just the situation with Xbox. I continue to try to tell people that the way the community and Phil Spencer and the spokespersons and Wired Rope's going to steal it with a 5-bomb on Twitch. Well done, sir. Well done. You guys might not be able to beat Twitch with the big heavy hitters, but you can certainly sneak those hits in. And a 5-bomb comes in from Ranger Haslam on YouTube a little too slow, but that does set up a 20-bomb dunker. If anybody's willing to do that, 125 is the next milestone. So you guys can steal it again. Somebody can. That is a nice setup. Thank you so much, Ranger Haslam, for doing that. To consistently act like, the Series S is not the problem, and to basically blame the devs. When Phil blamed the devs, we blamed Larian passively, and then you got an Xbox spokesperson being cheeky and seemingly making it sound like there was a secret exclusivity deal with Black Mick with Wukong, which once again is a dodge of the issue, and you're going to act like it's not the Series S. And then the podcasters and the talking heads and the pundits, they want to make jokes, or they want to just, blame the devs, for the last couple of years. Not Ranger. I'm an idiot. Ranger Haslam. Thank you so much, Ranger. I'll just call you Ranger. Forget the last name part too. Thank you, Ranger. I apologize on calling you Ranger. Ranger? I hardly know her. Anyway, the way they've approached the subject, it's like, and now the watching world is seeing Final Fantasy go over there and not fare all that well. And it's like, you guys have basically made the platform really unappealing. I don't know what to tell you. I said some of this morning in Morning Coffee. It's like, I will be described as hating Xbox when I say things like this. It's like, people will come into the chat, they'll leave comments of like, you're just out here hating on Xbox. And it's like, I'm not hating on Xbox. The disagreement with respect to how they handled the way they've handled the games coming late and all of that. It's like, man, oh man, you guys didn't see that this was not a good idea, that you should have 100% said, yep, it's going to take a little bit longer, but it's worth it. There's a fan base, there's good people here, it's a good community, but instead you wanted to make it about like blaming the devs and acting like the devs sucked and the devs didn't know what they're doing and the devs will have to figure it out. Matt Booty says they're going to have to, plan better. I don't know. I just continue to think that the way everybody handled everything, it's like you guys made it really unappealing for games to come over there. And a single comes in from Joker Quinn. Thank you so much. That takes us to 106. I don't know. Victor, thanks for 15 months on Twitch as well. The man over here is double dipping, and I appreciate it so much. And that's going to take us to 66 to 31. And Twitch, you guys are going to have to take those shots very, very carefully when you want to steal those. Salute Wide Rope. If they ain't on Game Pass, they don't buy. Did FF15 fall on Xbox? It was day one. I'm not actually sure, Tycho. I don't know. I don't know the sales figures on it. FF15, did FF15 do, I thought it did poorly in general, didn't it? I don't remember. I remember enjoying the opening to that game, and I remember everybody else saying they hated it. People did not seem to like that game. People did not seem to like FF15. So I don't even know if that did well anywhere. So that probably isn't the best one to check on. It's the problem that Xbox players over the years haven't had Final Fantasy games or JRPGs, so most have no interest, as those that do might have left, is lack of investment in the franchise or general purchase behavior. It's a variety of things, MASH. Like, basically what I said is, I said, listen, if you are going to bring a game like that to Xbox, you're fighting an uphill battle. You're fighting against people who are like, well, if it's not on Game Pass, I'm not interested, right? If something's not on Game Pass, we know this is true. We know that's the way people talk about it. Don't act like it's not true. It's true. You know, a lot of people in that community have spent years bragging about how they don't buy games and all the suckers on PlayStation have to buy games and we'll be playing it on Game Pass, okay? Don't act like that's not true. We know that's a factor. Now, the second thing you're working against is the fact that Final Fantasy hasn't had a huge presence over there in a really, really long time. As you're saying, MASH, a lot of people might have just left and been like, well, if I want to play Final Fantasy, I'm going to go to the platform that's going to get it, okay? So you're fighting against that. You're also fighting against the fact that on that platform in general, not just Final Fantasy, games that look and feel like a JRPG or are more of a Japanese style of approach, they tend to not do well. And you're dealing with the fact that the hardware over there did terribly this gen, so you have a much smaller footprint of players and probably people that are actively leaving Xbox right now. We've seen them on Reddit. We've seen them on Twitter. Some of you have come in here and said it. Those are all the things you're fighting against when you bring a game to Xbox like Final Fantasy. That's why I said the other day, I said, listen, this is not going to turn into a day and date thing with Square Enix. The relationship with Square Enix, I think Square Enix is going to be like, wow, that wasn't worth it at all. It wasn't worth it. Unless they're being compensated by Xbox for the port. I forgot to thank Nova Hands over here for 33 months on Twitch. Thank you so much for the double dip. And we are now already at 108 for the week. A huge, huge start. I tell you what, we should set a big, big stretch goal. We should do a stretch goal, and we should do an album party on Friday night is what we should do. We should make the big dog, the big one, the big kahuna goal that we do the whole dadgum album, the first one. You know, lyrics and everything. And then we can get them over there to Creature and get them on a channel and get them on Spotify. 8 million PS5, 1 million PC, 1 million Xbox. Oh, you're talking about FF15. FF15, 80% of the sales were PlayStation, 9% were Xbox. They both released at the same time. It was when Game Pass wasn't even a thing yet. Why does Microsoft continue to sabotage everything that they built? Being a fan since 01, this is to be the worst direction they've taken, and it makes me sick. Here's the thing, Illuminati. Here's the thing. I believe everything happening right now with Xbox, whether it's The Witcher 4 saying, yeah, Series S is going to be a problem, Game Pass price is going up, the handheld has just caused nothing but confusion, and some of the Bleed Green guys are shrugging at it. Some of the Bleed Green guys are being misleading about it, insisting that it's an Xbox, and it's like, that's very misleading because it's not. It is a ROG Ally with an Xbox button on it. It will not play all of your Xbox games. And so the average person who follows you and doesn't have all the nuance and understanding here is going to probably be pretty irritated when they find out that it is, in fact, not an Xbox. It's just another ROG Ally. And then the price comes out, and it's like, yeah, it's going to be somewhere around $900 to $1,000. That's kind of a non-starter for a lot of the fan base. These are the people that said that the Pro was a scam at $700. These are the people that said the Series S was going to run circles around the PS5 and it was going to sell like crazy because of the price point. They're all of a sudden going to just line up to buy a $1,000 ROG Ally because it has an Xbox button on it. Like, a lot of what you're seeing is, to me, there's a long tail here. All of this is the ramifications of the Xbox One. I think it goes all the way back to there. You can point fingers at a variety of people and persons and things and blah, blah, blah. I think the entire platform is still living underneath the shadow of the Xbox One. I think that the repercussions of that failure is still being felt today, because I think it made them make some really, really awkward decisions. I think they made awkward decisions with Series S and X. It made them make awkward decisions with Game Pass. It made them make awkward decisions with, like, how do you handle the PR of a weaker system when you know that developers don't like that? You know what I'm saying? You know that developers don't like dealing with bottlenecks, and you built your entire gen with a baked-in bottleneck. And it's an entire system. It's not like a weaker CPU or weaker GPU. Like when people are like, oh, well, the Pro is the same CPU, so that bottleneck means games aren't even going to run that well on it, and GTA 6 is going to be 30 FPS. It's like, your entire gen has a bottleneck. It's a box that can't do what all the other boxes can do that's being targeted by the devs right now. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Mike Deasy says, Chef Lono cooking breakfast today. Thank you, sir. This all just aligns to their low-carbon waste footprint agenda when announcing their green initiatives. I don't think that has anything to do with it. $1,000 consoles won't grow the gaming industry, Phil Spencer. Oh, he said that? Square Enix are a great dev and publisher of all time, in my opinion. I don't know about that. The run they have between 88 and 2006 is almost unmatched. Every now they have... and now they have the biggest MMO in the world. Black Myth was definitely a paid exclusive. No, it wasn't. People that actually know the terms of the deal know that that isn't true. I even saw an audio clip recently of Jez Corden saying, we know the details of the deal now. It was that PlayStation was going to help them with engineering to get the game to their platform quicker. It was not a paid deal. It wasn't a marketing deal. It was a hey, you're having trouble getting the game working on console. We'll help you out. So of course it came to PlayStation faster. That's not an exclusivity deal. It's not a secret exclusivity deal. And it doesn't even run well on the PS5 to begin with. It's so evident that the basic explanation we got when all those rumors started, that it was literally just them getting dev help from PlayStation. PlayStation's never done secret exclusivity deals. It totally didn't benefit them at all. They didn't get to market it, tout it, and they got a version of the game that doesn't even run that well. Like, what the heck? Hang on a second here. 109 on the member count today. Thank you for re-upping over there on Twitch. Mr. Giza, 37 months is a long dadgum time. Thank you, sir. Makes sense from a new Chinese dead. The main point is they are new. I'm not sure what point you're making, Emissary. Who would pay a ton of money to not be able to market? Yeah, there was rumors there was a deal. We learned the details of the deal. That's the end of the story. It's such a nothing burger. We heard a rumor that there was a deal. Somebody spoke out and said, oh yeah, this is what I heard. The deal is that PlayStation was helping them get the game ready for console. And when you play the game on console, it's evident that they were having trouble getting the game to run on console because it doesn't even run that well. It's such an easy explanation. It's just reasonable. It's logical. It's not some weird conspiracy. There's no reason to believe any of that nonsense. And just like that, Borderlands 4 Standard Edition is $70. I was like, I wonder how hilarious it's going to be if that game comes out and the Standard Edition is $70 after all that hullabaloo over the price. Or probably Zycon with 3 months on Twitch. Hey Lono, good to be back. Just back from a holiday and my cat died before I left, so I haven't been in the stream much. Well, I'm sorry your cat died. That's never fun when you lose, a member of your family. People might think that's weird to say, but it's true, man. They become a fixture. They're there for you all the time. And now we're at 35 for Twitch because another renewal over here is going to take us to 111 on the day. Thank you very, very much. Petrov. Excellent. He says, happy 3 months. The guy says, okay, so at least it isn't 80. I'll still wait for a sale eventually. Yeah, of course. Base price for games is getting silly. I mean, it's been 70 for a while. There's a handful that are going to be 80. Well, Xbox games are going to be 80, but yeah, I think 70's not even a new thing. It's been like that for a while. It's been like that since 2K did it first, didn't they? And then Tears of the Kingdom. Phil Spencer was playing psyops on the Xbox players, insinuating that there might be a secret deal between Sony and Game Science. He knew the Xbox hardcore would take that statement and run with it. He's an expert at dog whistling those people into saying the most absurd things. Behemoth says, hi, Lono and Twitch. Thank you for 7 months, Behemoth, and takes us to 112. Okay, Twitch. Twitch is sneaking up here. They're sneaking up on YouTube's total. You love to see it. Thank you guys for a nice, strong start to the week. The difference between 70 and 80 is psychological. For sure. I think people are like, man, we just got used to 70. Holy frick. Well, you're going to go up to 80 for? Guys, could you get me 200 likes on YouTube? Nice, strong turnout on YouTube. Thank you so much for being here. There's all sorts of things to talk about. The Witcher 4 devs, CD Projekt Red speaking about the Xbox Series S. Wired Rope says to check your primes on Twitch. Yep, it's time to check that. You guys might be able to catch up with YouTube today. There's a Donkey Kong Bonanza Direct on June 18th at 6 a.m. Pacific. I'll have to weigh that one out, OG, because that's really early, and it's just Donkey Kong. Like, I like Donkey Kong, but I don't know. That's not a Zelda or a Mario. I don't know if that's strong enough to pivot our morning coffee. Imagine the vocal minority yelling about 80 are the same that'll wait for the deal before buying. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, and guys, the farty bomb is here. That's probably why MASH did the 50 bomb, so that you guys could all spam that. I didn't get to see it because I was in the morning show open. And a VIP plus from my man Behemoth. This guy just over here just double dipping like an absolute dadgum champion. And that's going to take us to 67 versus the 36. And then a 113 on the total. Thank you so much. Nexus Mods was sold. The owner posted a statement. Yeah, we saw that. Mike Macon renews for 25 months on Twitch. Thank you so much for doing that. With the last name that rhymes with bacon, I mean, you just can't go wrong there. And then a member plus is going to come in and take us. We are exactly a 10 bomb away from 125. This is your chance. For a steal. Either platform can do it. Thank you so much for being here and doing that. We're missing 10. Why we're missing 10? Who did the 10 that I didn't add? That total is not right. It can't be Twitch because you guys have just been doing manuals. And a 10 bomb comes in from Behemoth on Twitch and he secures it. I think the member count is wrong on the battle. I actually think the missing 10's on Twitch. That's going to take us to 78 and 47 because it's not adding up properly. There it is. Well done, Behemoth. He's like, we got to give Twitch the win. I appreciate it. It was on here earlier. Yeah, I think I missed. It wasn't my 10 bomb. Was it somebody else's that I missed? When was it? How was the total not right? I don't know what's going on. Why don't we split it between the two? That doesn't seem. I don't know where it came from. Lost Scotsman. Let me just do this really quickly. I'm gonna lower YouTube by 5 and raise you guys by 5. I think I messed something up somewhere along the line, and I'm not sure exactly how. So let's just split the 10 that was missing. I don't know what I did. Lost Scotsman, thank you so much for bumping the line. I appreciate it. That's an Agents of Chaos 126. Boom. There we go. We did it. We have fixed it. The only thing I'm interested in for the new Donkey Kong game is how they destroy the whole map or use the destruction of the map to get through obstacles. The Xbox Ally X will be 900, not the Ally. Right, but that's the issue, right? Like the one that people are actually going to want is the 900. It's going to be, it's 900 euro, which is 1,000 USD. So I've been pre-approved for. That's not a game I'm interested in. Thank you for playing Mario Party. Leave me alone, Nintendo. Thank you guys also for those of you that are hitting the sub button. If you haven't hit the sub button yet and you're watching on YouTube, be sure to hit sub. Be sure to hit the bell button. That way you don't miss out on my content. The PC did not show up on Saturday. It has now been shipped, but it's being sold by a seller. And I'm like, oh, that's great. The whole reason I bought it is because it looked like it was coming from iBuyPower. It was listed under iBuyPower store on Amazon. So hopefully it's new. Oh my gosh. It has to be new. It's a brand new model and a brand new SKU. They were selling out everywhere because I think it's such a good deal. Stellar Blade on PC hit 1 million sales, 19 times faster than on PlayStation 5. That's not surprising at all. I mean, if you look at the regional times that it spikes, that's a huge region of the world, and that game was always going to be more popular on PC. I told people that months ago. I said that thing will sell like crazy on PC compared to PlayStation. It did fine on PlayStation. People acted like it was some big, huge cultural moment and some big win for gamers. I'm like, it sold fine on PlayStation. Like it was a fun game. I enjoyed it. It was my favorite game last year. I loved the combat. But at PC land, especially in the Asian market, a game like that's gonna sell really well, you know. I think that's something for PlayStation to consider with their China Hero project. I think they should be very, very aware of the type of partnerships they should be forming for the China Hero project, because they could stand to make a ton of money and get a lot of folks into their awareness of, hey man, PlayStation publishes some good games, you know. Stellar Blade was a new IP on PS5. When it came to PC a year later, it was established already. The statement is nonsense. Huh? Is somebody saying that's why it did well? It did well because Gooner's gonna goon. I mean, come on, let's just say what it is, boys. I mean, we know that's where all that kind of content lives. Yes, I think there should be some shame here involved. You know, I was getting ready to say there's no shame in it, but I think there should be some shame. I think we need to bring back shame. Matt, thank you for the single gifted, and he spams the Lono Farty. Not Lono Farty. The Lono Farty is the name of the emote if you type that. The Farty Bomb. Oh my gosh. There we go. 127, and that takes us here to 74. Thank you so much. Things have been dead or dying for decades in the gaming space, says MASH. Gamers live in hyperbole. Magic the Gathering has been dead or dying for 30 years. The pricing of these devices never work that way. In what way? So you're saying it's going to be cheaper in the U.S.? It's going to be $100 cheaper, Paul? Usually, if it's a lot of the times, Paul, if you remember when they were pricing the Pro, it was €8.99, and wasn't it like $8.90? I'm sorry, wasn't it €6.99, $6.99 US? Or do I have it backwards? Was it more euro? I can't remember. Match, that's the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life, ever. Is it not cheaper in the UK? If it ends up being the same price as the ROG Ally X, even though €8.99 translates into 1,000 USD, it looks like the ROG Ally X is 800. I guess because the dollar's stronger, maybe? I disagree about the shame aspect. While Stellar Blade features a busty, attractive first person, I applaud the devs for not including any romance or sex scenes in the game. That was not what I really appreciate about Stellar Blade. Dude, I'm talking about the mods, homie. I'm talking about the mods, man. There ain't no shame out here in the streets. People out here on Main Street just being nasty. Euro prices often have taxes included. I always frickin' forget that. It's that the $8.99 probably doesn't represent the actual price. It's the price and taxes, I would think, which is then why it would be basically like $7.99 US. Okay, so that means the Xbox ROG Ally X will be $800. That's a little bit better, but I don't know. That's still in the hemisphere of what we said. I kept saying it was going to be around 900. So if it's 800 instead of 1,000, this morning I think I said 900 to 1,000. So it sounds like it's going to be 800 to 900, somewhere in that hemisphere. After taxes, you're basically spending 900. So it's like, I just don't see how that's going to be a big draw for people. I really don't. The people that were, adamant that the $700 Pro was a ripoff, and they were adamant that the Series S was going to do so well. It's like, I just don't see that crowd rallying behind an $800 device. Did we get the sub goal? We hit the 100 sub goal over here? Okay. What do we need next? So we basically need, let's just do 50. We don't need to always... Yeah, let's do a goal here. Let's just do 50 on the day. I will cheer. There we go. I will, hang on, I got it. I will gift 5. There we go. That's what we'll do. We'll just do goals, completed goals on Twitch. I got to think about how to do those. Incognito, thank you so much for 3 months of members over here on Twitch. I appreciate you sticking with me. And that gets us to 128. Thank you. So what the heck am I doing? Bam. There we go. You're 20 away, Twitch. ROG Xbox X Allies $8.99 in Europe. Yo, it's good, Holler Rage. Taking that conversation logic for the PS5 Pro would mean that it would have a price tag of $900 in the US, and it obviously doesn't. You're right. I did the math in the wrong direction. I should have said 800. That's an easy mistake with currencies. But still, we've been saying it'll be around the same price as the ROG Ally X. And the ROG Ally X is 800. So this one's a little bit stronger. It could be 800 to 900, I think is what we've been saying. Again, that just doesn't seem to jive with the conversations we've been having with that crowd for the last while. Hadigan with 3 months. Love the work. Best community in gaming. Thanks for all you do. Thank you, Hadigan, for bumping the line with your renewal. I appreciate it so much. And we're now at 129. Appreciate you guys so much. Just start playing the first Baldur's Gate. It's hard. I actually don't think I've ever even seen... I think I played Baldur's... Which one did I play on a console? I swear I played a Baldur's Gate on console, and I felt similarly about it. I was like, I don't know what the frick I'm doing, because I was a Diablo guy. I played Diablo 1 and 2 a stupid amount. I installed the Diablo 2 on an external hard drive and took it to work and played it when I worked at AT&T. I was just running it off the hard drive. Dark Alliance. I thought I played an old school one on one of the consoles. Pushing hard to finish Death Stranding this week. Can't wait for 2. Yeah, Russell. I was glad I finished it when I did, because right now I'm working on Expedition 33 and I'm loving it. Loving it. I have to write down my theory so that you guys don't think I made it up. If I get anywhere close to what's actually happening, I don't want to say it because I don't want anybody to spoil it. I think the original Baldur's Gate 3 makes Diablo 1 graphics look like Cyberpunk. I think you meant to say the original Baldur's Gate, not 3, just Baldur's Gate. I got the remasters but never played them. Got them in a humble bundle, way too complex. Can we get 15 more likes on YouTube? You guys are crushing it today. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you've never been here before, it's a Safe for Work broadcast. It's a talk show Monday through Friday. Just not a great day of news stories for Xbox. The Witcher 4 guys said what they said about the Series S. Windows Central reporting that a price increase seems to be coming for Game Pass. The price leaks for the ROG Ally X, and it's not cheap. It looks like it's going to land around $800 or $900 US. So that's not a great place, I don't think, to be if you're, still feeling like you want to stay loyal to them and loyal to the hardware. It just continues to feel like, I don't know. I know if my producer's here, he'll spam it in chat in all caps. Xbox wants you gone. That's his argument. All the pre-order bonus listed. There's a ton of detail. Yeah, and then Borderlands 4 base price ended up being $70. So after all that drama over what Randy Pitchford said, it's a $70 game. I don't know if he was pulling a 900 IQ play or what, but I don't think he did. I think he should have not said what he said. I didn't get upset by it because I think people are like forcing themselves to be like very overly sensitive on these things. Like, who cares what a CEO says? If I like the game, I'm going to buy it. Happy late Father's Day, by the way. Hope you had a good one. Thank you so much, Empathy Box. I appreciate that. Hope all the dads out there had a great Father's Day. My family surprised me with a brand new grill. I'm having to adjust to it. It gets hot really fast. Like, my grill was old and the burners were bad. It was 10 years old. I had kind of pieced it together. I'd replaced the grills. I'd replaced the flame guards. And, man, it took a long time to get hot. This one got so hot so fast, I couldn't even see the flames. I was like, where are the flames? And when I looked into the back to like peek in, I was like, oh my gosh, it's so hot in there already. It was like, it hadn't even been a minute. It's a 4-burner Nex grill. It's like Home Depot's brand. My wife and son picked it out for me. I think they did a great job. I was like, this is what I would have picked out for myself. I was like, because when you're in that like $400 range, like around that price range for a grill, bumping up from that, it just gets absurd. And I'm like, I don't need that. I don't grill like that. You know what I mean? My friend's got the egg and a Blackstone and a crazy grill with these stones that get hot. And I'm like, I don't grill like that, brother. You know what I mean? That'd have been a waste. You got a Blackstone? Nice. Finish Expedition 33. I think it's close to a 9 out of 10 for me, says Mash, but at the end of the day, still an 8 out of 10. Yeah, I haven't run into any of the troublesome platforming that you ran into. I don't know. There were a couple spots where I had to like jump on these pillars, and I fell once or twice, but it wasn't that bad. We're eyeing a new one, the one I won 700. Yeah, I mean, you can go pretty hard in the paint for a grill. You can. And I thought my wife did a great job, That was probably a little nervous, like, oh, if I get him, a bad one. But I'm not like one of those guys that's like super picky on these things. When it comes to stuff like that, I'm pretty easy to please. You know what I mean? It's like, if it looks nice, runs nice, I'll use it for the next 10 years. Oh, the heating plates? Yeah, my friend's is insane. It's like one of the most expensive grills I think you can even get. Like, he's a very wealthy guy. And it's got like these stones spaced out throughout it. That's true, Lono, says King Deuce. Microsoft wants Xbox gamers to move away from their hardware. Do you guys agree with this? Do you guys agree with this? Like, this is something that my producer said for a long time. He wanted me to make a video where like we argued that Xbox wants you gone. Like, they want you off the hardware. I don't know. It's I feel like more and more it's hard to see that's not the case. It's like they would prefer you to be buying their games on another platform or subscribing to Game Pass on PC because that's just a better route for them to make money. Having a portion of you on console is a bit of a nuisance at this point. The less of you are, they have to worry about this. But I don't know, because they talk about backwards compatibility. I mean, how's that going to work if you're actively trying to get people off of the place where that matters most, which is the console? Nobody's going to be coming to PC or a handheld and expecting backwards compatibility. I don't think that's a fair expectation. Backwards compatibility primarily is a concern of the people who stay on the console. It's why people were upset that PlayStation had a bunch of games that weren't backwards compatible. Right? It was why people were concerned about the Switch 2 being backwards compatible. I don't think when people jump to a new platform, they have a right to expect backwards compatibility. So why would they have all these efforts in place for backwards compat if they're trying to basically get you off the hardware? Did you see the Stellar Blade Studio head talking about what they want to improve for the sequel? No. Did he give specifics that you think are worthy of note, or are you just asking if I read it? I haven't had a chance to see it. They clearly don't want to be in hardware anymore, so they need to push people off of their hardware so they can exit and focus on being a mega publisher. Creature says, what they've done the last 12 months that makes you think they want you on their hardware. I can't argue against that. I can't argue that they want you, but I keep coming back to, they don't make any sense then. It's like, well, why would you care so much about backwards compat if you're actively trying to get people to exit your console? Backwards compatibility is a definite must now with digital libraries. Do you think that's their effort and their goal, Eugene? That like they're going to make sure you can get backwards compatibility, like if you're playing on a PC? I don't know. That doesn't even remotely. I just don't think that's an expectation that I have. If they do it, that's awesome. But I don't have high hopes for that. I do not have high hopes that one day I'm going to boot up my PC and I'll have like a 360 emulator provided to me by Xbox. I just don't think so. I have a massive amount of doubt about that happening. That seems like a very expensive endeavor. Maybe not expensive. That seems like an endeavor that would give them very little ROI, so I don't see that happening. I don't. Wasn't the rumor the Asus one was canceled? If you're talking about the handheld, no. The Asus handheld. Wait, what are you talking about? Are you talking about the Xbox Asus handheld? Is that what you're talking about? I gave Sony a pass on PS3 because it poses significant issues. I don't see there being ROI there. No, the Asus one was not canceled, homie. They announced that, and then a day or two later, there was somebody saying, Tom Warren from The Verge said that according to his sources, the Xbox handheld had been canceled internally. That's one that Xbox was going to make. That is not the Asus one. That's a different one. Who knows? Microsoft might switch strategy, says Pathalon. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time they said one thing and did something completely different. I mean, that's obviously kind of par for the course for them. Hang on, let me answer your question, Frank, and then I'm going to clear out the question queue. You guys can submit questions like this as a paying member or paying subscriber on Twitch or YouTube. So if you've never supported a YouTube channel before, consider clicking join and then pick Member Plus. For $6 a month, you get 2 extra shows every day and then a Friday night show as well. Those are shows you cannot see without the Member Plus subscription. How do you feel about paying extra for a couple-day early access for games? I get this question a lot, and this one doesn't bother me. It doesn't, because it is completely optional. The game's release date is announced well in advance for people to, you can schedule and plan around the actual release date, okay? Early access to me is like paying for a premium. It would be like paying for a fast pass at Disney or something. It's like you're paying for the convenience of getting in there earlier than everybody else. I don't have a problem with it at all. Now listen, a lot of the times one of the main reasons I don't have a problem with it is you buy a premium edition that comes with more than early access. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it comes with more than that. You get like extra skins or a DLC or a little digital book or a soundtrack. Like, they give you all these extras and they give you early access. It's not that like they're like, yeah, spend an extra $15 for early access and that's all you get. Been playing much Switch 2, honeymoon period's over? Okay, I mean, I don't think so. My kids and I played it, my entire family played Mario Party on Saturday. And then my kiddo played Mario Kart. My wife and I played Mario Party the other night. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm loving it. If I wasn't playing Expedition 33, I would be living in Tears of the Kingdom. Like, I'm playing what I think is probably, headed for Game of the Year. That takes precedence. That's not the Switch 2's fault. Like, I would be playing that thing like crazy right now. They have a vested interest in dropping their consoles, 2 less consoles to port games on, says Aaron Walsh. Oh, is this the one you're getting, Eugene? Let me take a peek see at this bad boy. Oh, that's nice. I love the rounded edges. I really do. That's good. I don't like Charbroil's new logo. That's ugly. I like their old logo. Their old logo was very it was very suburban American, It reminded me of like the Kingsford charcoal, logo. Like that new logo looks stupid. That's like a design. That looks like it should be on a purse. Why did they change their logo to that? Look at this, chat. That's terrible. Do you remember the original Charbroil logo was so good? Why would you switch it to that? That looks dumb. Why would you abandon this? Why would you abandon this? This is absolutely that is a perfect logo for a grill. That's perfect. What the frick is this? Like, that looks like it should be on a purse, like a designer purse or something. Fire your marketing team or your branding team. That is literally fugly. Why did you do that? You went from America cooking out, grilling out. Like, this reminds me of like that Kingsford charcoal bag is just so classic. It's so classic. That's a great looking grill, Eugene. And then that logo, it just ruins it. You're going to have to put some duct tape over it. Yeah, it's so modern and ugly. That's terrible. So those sales of Final Fantasy on Xbox, are we going to talk about that? I genuinely thought the rank was a lie until I checked it myself. Brooklyn, listen. Some of y'all need to listen to the show. Don't just watch the show. I need you to listen to the show. I told y'all last week that was going to happen. I'm just kidding, Brooklyn. Like, I literally said last week, I said, listen to me. This this thing with Final Fantasy coming to Xbox, I said, it's not going to result in anything. It isn't. I said, I don't think they're going to sell enough to justify the ports, and I don't think it's going to result in day-and-date releases of Final Fantasy games. I said, you might get ports going forward, and look at the results. There is no way Square Enix is going to crunch those numbers and be like, yeah, let's sign up for that again. This is something we've talked about so many times, where porting a game to Xbox has become a why bother kind of a question. It's like, why bother? Why would you do it? If you can't even sell 250,000 copies, 250,000, if you can't even hit 250, I cannot imagine a company being like, oh no, that was totally worth our bandwidth and money, and we could have been working on something else, but we ported a game to sell 22,000 copies opening weekend on? What? And listen, this is a continual losing battle. I've tried to tell people this. Xbox spent the last 5 years making their platform so dadgum unappealing, and I kept telling people, if you keep going this way, you're just going to drive people away from your platform. You're going to drive studios away from your platform. You can't keep blaming the devs. The way that Phil handled the situation with Larian, that did damage to Xbox. The way that a Microsoft spokesperson handled the situation with Black Myth Wukong, that did damage to Xbox. It may have made you feel good on your podcasts and on your Twitter feeds because Phil's out here acting like all's fine. Oh, what do you mean? There's no hardware problem. Oh, yeah. Oh, and then a Microsoft spokesperson, there's no hardware problem. And they try to insinuate there's some kind of a secret exclusivity deal. Listen, that might make you feel better on Twitter, but all it's done is make Xbox really unappealing. I kept telling you, if you are going to blame developers for why they come to your platform late, good frickin' luck getting developers to want to build for your platform in the future. Oh, and by the way, when they do, if you're not on Game Pass, people are going to say, no thanks, it's not on Game Pass, and you're not going to get a lot of sales. Oh, and also the hardware is selling terribly this gen. Good Lord. I mean, they couldn't have made the platform more unappealing to devs. And I said all this, and people would say, well, you're bashing Xbox, you're hating on Xbox. It's like, no, I'm not. I just can see with my eyes wide open and clear, I don't have fandom for Xbox. It was easy to leave that platform. When I left that platform to primarily play on PC, it was easy. I didn't care. I was like, oh, my precious Xbox. Now, I was hoping to go back to it because I had all those backwards compatible games from 360 in the Xbox One era. I was hoping to go back to Xbox. I was. They failed this gen to get me to invest or buy games on that platform. I was like, what are we doing here? What are you doing, boys? Dreamcast was such a great system. Such a good controller, too. It was such a comfortable controller. Final Fantasy VII is great. Just don't have the same level of trust with people, but Final Fantasy has never sold well on Xbox. Why does that bother you? Xbox isn't important, so people shouldn't care? You're projecting. Where did I say it bothered me? There's passion and irritation in my voice because I was with them for a very long time. I did not like how they handled this gen, and the entire time I've covered Xbox this gen, I've had to put up with attacks and labels and insults from people who were too blind to see what was happening to Xbox. And now, instead of admitting they were wrong, they'll just turn to insults when it comes to this stuff. It's like, you care enough to talk about every single day about Xbox? See, the interesting thing is you're projecting onto me that I care and that I'm upset, but you clearly are the one that's upset because now you're saying something that isn't true about my platform. I covered Summer Game Fest. I covered the PlayStation State of Play. I covered PlayStation. I covered Marathon. I had people that were upset that I covered Marathon too much. That's a huge blemish on Bungie, which is then a blemish on PlayStation. You didn't see that, right? You didn't see that coverage, I guess, as you falsely summarize my coverage. You sound like the one who's upset. Oh, you couldn't care less? Let me guess. I'm going to touch my head. You're a PC master race who seemingly is lockstep with all the Xbox talking points and you don't like PlayStation. Did I get it right? Did I guess right what your MO is? How many times have you been banned on YouTube so you run over here to hide on my Twitch to run false narrative on my content because your butt hurt about Xbox? No. Where do you play? What games have you played this gen? Where do you play and what games have you played this gen? And my question is, why would you not be interested in Xbox as they announce a handheld? Another major developer talked about their platform being a problem in the second half of this gen. Their subscription price is about to go up, and their handheld price leaked. I'm not supposed to talking about that stuff. Why? Because you have to wear Depends when you watch the show, and you wet yourself if I say negative things about Xbox? This sounds like a you problem. Those are all things that happened over the weekend, but I'm not supposed to talk about it. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, change your diaper, get a dry pair on so that you can maybe survive the rest of the show without being so upset by me talking about things that literally happened in gaming news. Like, if you go and look at all the tweets, all the videos, all the articles about everything that happened in the last, 3 to 4 days, Xbox is in the center stage on virtually every topic. But I'm not supposed to talk about it because it hurts your feelings? I don't know why you're watching the show if this is something you feel like I do too much. I just don't care. Why is that wrong? You're awfully invested for not caring. You're watching a channel with 134 viewers on Twitch in the Just Chatting directory. You didn't stumble in here, so you clearly care enough to watch. You also care enough to falsely summarize the fact that this is what I do every day. So maybe you should watch somebody else if that's such a problem. I don't know. We didn't talk about this all last week other than when we talked about the handheld because the handheld broke. I don't know what you want from me. I did a video praising Gears of War. I did gameplay of Alters. I did gameplay of Gears of War. I talked about the Dragon Age Veilguard getting exposed. I talked about Mind's Eye. I talked about the Ben Studio layoffs. I talked about Death Stranding 2. Did you miss all those shows that week? Just stated the fact that it's again about Xbox. You didn't state a fact. You stated a lie. You said that it's enough to talk about Xbox every single day, which I don't do. Did you miss the Death Stranding Game of the Year show? Did you miss that? Did you miss the Mind's Eye gameplay? Did you miss the Mind's Eye review? Did you miss when I covered the Ben Studio layoffs or the Halo PS5 leak? Did you miss when I talked about Dragon Age the Veilguard getting exposed? Did you miss that? Did you miss the Alters gameplay? Did you miss the Gears of War gameplay? Did you? Did you miss all those things? Because apparently you didn't see those shows. None of those shows were about Xbox. Seems so? Yeah, well then pay the frick attention if you're going to talk about my content like that, or politely shut the frick up. Don't talk about my content as if you watch it when just last week the trend was not even Xbox. Xbox trended over the weekend, so that's what I'm going to talk about on Monday. Get over it or get out. It's that simple, brother. No, he's just a douche on Twitch. Nobody has to leave Game Pass. Game Pass is leaving you. Yeah, I mean, the Game Pass price increase, is typically, I think, something to be expected like every couple of years. I feel like the people that are upset about that, I think, have a right to be upset. They just did one, and they're going to do another one. Not only that, they moved day and date to Ultimate. Like, I can't believe how much that got glossed over. You move day and date to Ultimate, and then you also raise the price of Ultimate. It's like, and everybody acts like Game Pass is still like amazing. And it's like, well, Game Pass is amazing on PC. It's amazing if you're grandfathered into the classic. But like, if they raise it again, I think the guys on Game Pass have every right to be upset about that. It's getting really expensive. The entire point of Game Pass is supposed to be value, not having your prices continue to go up. Sony CEO says PlayStation 6 is now top of mind. Rhino says nobody destroyed PlayStation 5 other than its own makers. Not competition, not COVID, not the market. It's them from Jim Ryan onwards. Their greed, their strategy, and their total detachment from gaming audiences and lack of true appreciation for gaming as an art form is what destroyed the PS5 era. Is he living on another timeline? They just reported this is the most successful generation they've ever had. It's on pace with PS4. They've had a consistent cadence of first-party publishing efforts and exclusives. And because we're past the midway point of the gen and they're thinking about the PlayStation 6, which makes sense if you want them to ship that in 4 years or so, they have to start thinking about it and they have to start engineering it. What timeline are you living on, Rhino? Good golly. Maybe make more Ghost of Tsushima 2 fan art so you can trigger me on Twitter. You. He used to do that. I would get so triggered. I'm like, oh, Ghost of Tsushima 2? No, it's just fan art. Rhino's just doing Rhino things. Rhino's just doing Rhino things. I literally had to unfollow him. I got so tired of getting tricked by the Tsushima stuff that he would post because it looked so real. It looked so real every time. It's opposite day. Of course now is when to talk about PS6. I just asked one question and he totally freaked out. No, I didn't freak out. You lied about my content and I corrected you. And now you're doing that classic tactic of projecting onto me some sort of emotional state. You got what you wanted and now you can't talk here. You've been following me for a whopping 3 days. Frick all the way off. I know you're just some banned butthurt loser from YouTube. So I don't want you to get a gifted over here because you were probably getting them on YouTube and you got banned and now you're mad and now you just happen to find me on Twitch. Yeah, you followed me 3 days ago. Sure, Jan. I'm so discoverable on the Twitch platform with 130 viewers in the Just Chatting directory. What do you think? I haven't been doing this for a decade? Oh, I'm going to get one by him, going to come in and lie about his content, and when he gets irritated and defends himself, then I'm going to say he freaked out. Yeah, you're just nothing more than a gaslighting loser who's probably clip farming for Twitter. Hopefully you got a good one, and I don't know. Hopefully the ad revenue's better than watching me play Gears. They were so excited that I was bad at Gears. I said I was going to be bad at Gears. I was like, I literally said that I was going to play poorly. Why is that so exciting for people? Like, I'm going to be really bad at this. It would be like saying, I'm going to be really bad at juggling. And then just like throwing the balls up in the air. Like, can you believe this guy can't juggle? It's like, I said I couldn't. You love Gears so much, I wish I could play this weekend. I've always been so terrible at the PvP, Ginger. I told people for weeks, I was like, I'm going to play for 15 minutes, I'm going to die a lot, and then I'm probably going to shut it off. And that's pretty much what happened. I died a lot. And I was like, I can't play this game. It's never made sense to me. I feel like I'm drunk, but I'm not. Maybe that's how you're supposed to play. Is that the secret? Major advertisers were lining up to sign up until they saw you play Gears PvP. They all walked away quietly. They're like, we were going to work with this guy, but dear Lord, he can't use the Nasher to save his life. Oh my gosh. Danny with 18 months says, they just did a price increase and now they're doing another one. Wow, they really did become the Netflix of games. Well, I mean, and that bumps us to 130. All right, Twitch, this is your chance. Look at this. If you guys do a 20 bomb, you'll steal the next milestone of 150 and you'll tie it. This is the time. This is your chance. Do it before YouTube does. How do you get into the beta? I pre-ordered the game. Yeah. I pre-ordered the game. Saw someone else's gameplay this weekend. Big oof. Listen, I took it in stride and I laughed it off that they were all making fun of my gameplay because I was like, yeah, I'm bad. Like, I don't have an ego about it because I said I was going to be bad. And I took my little shot back. I was like, yeah, you were talking a pretty big game. And then you got in there and you were like, oh, wow, this is an 18-year-old game and I haven't played in a really long time. I'm getting outplayed by, I'm telling you, the people that play that game on PC, they're on another wavelength, dude. They move around like Doctor Strange. I'm like, I don't know how you're doing that, but... And I'd respect it if I could understand it. I don't even know what's happening. They're like teleporting. It's like, good for you. My experience in that game is somebody rolls toward me and I explode. That was what always happened to me when I played on the 360. I was like, I don't know what just happened. The guy rolled towards me and I exploded into meat packets. And I really liked the beast mode and horde mode, and I played a lot of that in Gears 3. PvP was never my jam in that game, ever. I was like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what's happening. Yeah, wall bouncing. Yeah, it's the weirdest. It's crazy. You finally recognize that PC players exist on a higher level. I don't know if I'd call it a higher level, Zubair. I would call it a different level. I would call it, it's different. Y'all are different. Oh my golly. It's easy when you can move the mouse and the keyboard. Controllers are for real gamers. Oh, shut up, Garrett. Shut up. Don't you start that crap. Oh my gosh. There's a lot of movement tech in that game. If you know, you know. This is what I said this morning. If you've ever seen somebody, doing a very particular dance, I don't know. They're doing the tango or something. And it looks really cool. And then you try to do it. Oh, I'll tell you what. This is an even better analogy. It's like breakdancing. When you watch somebody who's really good at breakdancing, you can just tell. I'm the girl who went to the Olympics and got turned into a meme. That's me trying to play Gears, okay? I think that's a perfect analogy. You don't need to explain breakdancing to me. When I watch somebody breakdance, I'm like, they're really good. I don't know how they're doing what they're doing. I don't understand any of the techniques, but I can just automatically tell that they're good. That's like watching somebody who's really good at Gears. I'm like, I can tell you're really good because you're killing everybody. I don't freaking understand what you're doing. And when I tried to play Gears, I am the kangaroo chick trying to breakdance at the Olympics. That's the best analogy I can come up with. It's like, all right, let me take a crack at this breakdancing thing. That's what I would look like if I tried to breakdance. And that's basically what I look like when I play Gears PvP. It's terrible. I mean, similar things would happen if I played like a basketball game, Oh my gosh. No, we doing that? Doing what? Lono ray gun confirmed? I'm telling you, man, that's it. I said this morning, it's like a dance that just makes sense to some people. They know where to move, they know when to move, and I'm like, I don't understand any of this. Doesn't make no sense to me. I've never been a particularly good PvP player anyway. Even when I played Call of Duty, I was more of a team player. I wasn't the Slayer. I would usually be in second place. We always had a Slayer, and then I'd be like support. What soccer game are you playing later? It's called Rematch. I probably won't be any good at that either, but I think that game's got a lot of potential. It's got a lot of potential. When Lono dances, he moves on the 3 and the 4. Now, that's unkind because I play the drums, and I actually do have rhythm, okay? Insomniac. There are levels to being white, and I actually, thankfully, am not in that category, okay? I'm like one notch over. Like, I can clap on beat. If I came to your church, I would be okay. It would be like, tell that boy to stop clapping. I would be okay. I have rhythm. That doesn't mean I can dance. That's the next notch over, right? There's like no rhythm at all, clapping on the offbeat, and in the Baptist church, they just say, bless their heart, right? And then one notch over, I can clap on beat. And then the next notch over is decent dancer. I don't get over there. That's where it stops, right? And then the next notch over is the Drewski clip, where he did white face. That's it. That's the spectrum. I just broke it down for you, okay? Does anyone remember the basketball-type game called Around the World? I do not remember that. No. Yeah, that's the dance moves. Yeah, yeah. Final Fantasy 16 has sold 22,000 copies on Xbox since its shadow dropped on June 9th. Yeah, some people have asked about that. I said what I said last week. There's not much to say. Other than the fact that, I didn't think it was going to sell that well. The analogy doesn't work for me. I think you would be a good break dancer. You have low center of gravity, and most of the week you're literally vibrating. Who said that the one time? It was a comment, wasn't it? Like, this man's literally vibrating. It was a short, and for a while I would record the shorts at 1.5 so I could say more, but it would make me, I already move around a lot. I'm already a little bit twitchy in the chair, and then some guy commented on one of my shorts, and he says, "Mans is literally vibrating." I was like, that's a great comment, because it was accurate. You'd be a good breakdancer. You're always low to the ground. Yeah, he already made that joke, Chris. You can't steal his joke. Mind's Eye Lands. Oh, here the reviews are coming in. Metacritic 37 and an OpenCritic 34. Perfect. We got a Mind's Eye video coming tomorrow. I looked into everything. If you want to know the truth about that game, it's a lot deeper than just the game itself. And all of that's going to be hitting a video tomorrow. And if you guys haven't hit the like button yet on YouTube, do me a favor and do that. Get us up to 300 likes. Is that what people mean when they say I'm just vibing? No, completely different. Yeah, completely different things. Yeah. Jay says, with the recent news that 38% of PS Plus are on Extra or Premium, could they potentially be leading over Game Pass? That's not new that they're leading, right? Haven't they had more subscribers for a while? I feel like they have. Mind's Eye's on sale for $49.99. Oh, that's a steal. I platinumed Mind's Eye. I had an okay time with it. I didn't experience any real bugs or glitches. We're going to need you to take a polygraph. Because I don't believe you. Come on. My man said, I didn't experience any real bugs or glitches. Did you play with a blindfold on? Like, are you one of those streamers or something? Come on, bro. Come on. Stop it. What do the kids say? Stop the cap. I need you to cease with the capping, you know? We're going to send you a cease and desist about the cap, okay? You're going to get one in the mail because it needs to stop. There's no freaking way. It's Black Myth Wukong all over again. No. It's close. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. It runs fine. It's similar. It's similar, Anthony, but it's not. It's not. Sometimes people get lucky in that regard. When Cyberpunk first launched, I saw one bug my entire playthrough. Where did you play? That what? What do you mean? That's not... no. There's no way. Okay. Sometimes I'll watch a movie or a TV show, and I have some drinks, and I get a little sleepy. And then the next day, I'm like, I don't really remember what happened at the end. And I'll go back, and I'll see a recap, and I'm like, and it immediately hits me. I'm like, oh no, I remember all this. So you can't do that. Or what are you guys doing? Are you guys going on benders and playing these games? And you're like, I don't know, dude. I played Cyberpunk at launch, and I saw like one bug. I got all the way to credits. What? How? How did you play? He didn't even just say he finished Mind's Eye. He said he platinumed Mind's Eye and didn't really see any bugs or glitches. That doesn't seem possible. You can't even get out of the opening. Come on, man. There are other ways to admit you're a drug addict or an alcoholic, okay? You're always in a constant state of like, I don't know what happened. I played it and didn't see a single thing. Get out of here. Getting the platinum was a glitch. I mean, come on, dude. There is no way. These are two of the worst games with respect to like bugs and glitches at launch. Cyberpunk and Mind's Eye. Mind's Eye being far worse, obviously. I played Cyberpunk on PC at launch, and I only encountered like 2 bugs. That's why I said, did he play it on PC? He might have played Cyberpunk on PC, and in that respect, I would say, okay, maybe you got all the way to end credits and didn't have any major bugs in Cyberpunk. Console, it was an absolute and utter disaster. But Mind's Eye is terrible everywhere. It doesn't really matter where you play it. It's probably the easiest to get a platinum. It's almost all story-related trophies. Huh. You played on PC under Linux? Under Linux? How'd you do that? Under it. Did you mean on Linux? I played on PC. The PC version was buggy. We all know this, says Dirge. Dirge just stopped the cap. Over Linux is better than under Linux. That's right. Yeah. I think he meant below. It's below Linux. I think you meant to say on. Saying under is 90s computer nerd speak. Okay. I don't think I ever encountered that. And I was playing like Quake 2 and Quake 3 on my PC that I made back in the late 90s. Maybe that's like early 90s. I got into PC gaming late 90s, around the time that I graduated from high school. You're old. You're probably older than me. Yeah, I'm 43. I never heard that one. Yeah. Quake 2 ruined Quake forever. You watch your freaking mouth. You watch your... What do you mean? In and around Linux. I never heard it before either. Yeah, I've never heard that before. I was playing Cyberpunk at launch on PC and had very little major game-breaking bugs. Yeah, PC, it had like a 75% at launch. The railgun ruined Quake for forever. Okay. I understand. Yeah. You were bad. You were bad, right? I get it. You couldn't hit those rail shots. Yeah. The railgun was tough. You know what gun I hated in Quake 3 was the lightning gun. The lightning gun was annoying. That was just, people would get within reach. There were guys, it was like a magnet. Oh, it was terrible. Railgun just gave noobs an easy to use gun to camp with. It made the game a lot more passive and easier. Well, yeah, Rocket Arena saved it from that, though. I didn't feel like that. No, Rocket Arena, you couldn't do that because you would have to navigate the map a lot differently because everybody started, it was round based, all guns, 100 ammo, 100 health. Yeah, that kind of fixed that. You're not looking to discuss. You just have a preformed opinion. All right, what's going on here? Mash is talking about somebody named Moon. No, you're talking about your opinion. I'm giving database to reference which is actual data, but because it doesn't reflect your opinion, you're arguing against it without even looking at it. What's old Moon saying over here? Talking about reality, not about opinions. All right, let me go back here. Why argue in bad faith and just lie blatantly? Why would I do that? I followed player counts when they are available. PC is always last. And the first to die, even during Xbox's worst times. I don't understand what he's saying. Moon, what are you arguing? What exactly is the argument? Give me the too long didn't read here. Is he arguing that I can't see, the monitor's in the way. Are you arguing that the player base numbers drop first? There it is. My wife's, she uses my office to get her dough to rise. She says it's from all the hot breath. It does work the best in here. She literally puts it between my computers.
If you put it out in the sunroom, it overproofs.
Yeah, the sunroom gets too hot and it does what's called overproofing, which is a lot like overclocking. So for all you computer guys out there, you might be good at baking. What's everyone's opinion on the PlayStation Fireside to the investors? I mean, it seems like they're doing great. I mean, the only thing that came out of it that I think is ridiculous is the way they're talking about Marathon. The way they're talking about Marathon is, it's just stupid, empty corpo speak. Like, oh, we have initial strong interest in Marathon. What? Mash says, I told him the largest gamer base was mobile, then PC, then consoles. He thinks mobile isn't gamers and PC isn't larger than consoles. Why would you think that, Moon? I don't really care to get into the whole, like, mobile gamers aren't gamers because it's idiotic, especially considering some of the biggest games in the world are, like, mobile MMOs in China, so that's stupid. But the PC user base is enormous. Just typical PC fanboy stuff. He's not a PC fanboy, you dolt. What are you talking about? He's not a PC fanboy. Mash is an Xbox guy. What are you talking about? The PC user base is the biggest. Are you new to this discussion? He thinks Mash is a PC fanboy. Jiminy Christmas. Homie, the PC fanboys is the PC fan base is the biggest. It is. The user base is huge. Why do you think, oh my gosh, why do you think PlayStation wants to get into the Chinese market so bad? The PC user base there is enormous. And that's why they're doing the China Hero Project. You're not even close to being factually accurate. You want to get subjective and be like, man, mobile gamers aren't gamers. Man, like, that's stupid. But, I mean, that's just you coming up with your own classifications. If you're talking about actual player counts, but the PC is huge. Mobile especially, and PC because PC encapsulates some. I've never heard someone say, man, I can't wait to go play my mobile when I get home. British accent. So your anecdotal experience of people not proclaiming loudly that they can't wait to go home and play mobile, that's your research? Man, you should be a part of a data center. You do such good research. What the frick? What are you talking about? There are enormously popular mobile games. There's Marvel. There's COD Mobile. There's like Chinese MMOs that are enormous. A lot of people play Fortnite on mobile. Like, there are plenty of people who play on mobile. The mobile gaming user base is enormous. Now, you don't want to count Candy Crush like moms, playing on their lunch break. Okay, fine. You could be like, they're not a real gamer. Who cares about that? If you're talking about people who engage in some form of gaming, yeah, mobile's huge, PC's huge, console's in last place when it's not even close. You're right, my experience has zero value. I didn't say your experience had zero value. We're talking about data. We're talking about something that's measurable. And you said, I've never heard anybody proclaim, out just into the public, I can't wait to go home and play on my mobile device. League of Legends alone has like 150 million players monthly. You don't seem to understand that you entered a discussion about facts, and you think that your anecdotal experience has a bearing on facts. Homie, if I told you that McDonald's sold more cheeseburgers than the corner shop that's owned by one person, and you're like, I don't know, I always see a line there, and I've never seen a line at McDonald's, I'd be like, listen, your anecdotal experience has nothing to do with the facts. The facts are exactly what you said. Anecdotal doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in the realm of facts. Try to keep up, man. You are sitting here calling somebody a fanboy and debating facts. That's not a fact. Your anecdotal experience, it's not a fact. It doesn't have any bearing. If we're measuring player-based numbers, your anecdotal experience is irrelevant. Yes, in this discussion, it's irrelevant. League of Legends is PC. Why do people always bring up PC-only games when the argument comes up? Because we were talking about the player-based numbers, homie, and you were arguing that PC's user base is not larger than console. Are you feeling okay? Do you even understand the argument you were having with MASH? It feels like you don't even understand the argument you were having. You're like, why on earth would people bring up League of Legends? Because it's demonstrative of the point that the PC user base is huge. We were talking about multi-platform games. Okay, but that's not a universal rule either, because Helldivers has severely slanted towards more people playing on PC. There's not a hard and fast rule here about the divide of PC players versus console players in multi-plat games. It depends on the game. So sure, you could cite something like Assassin's Creed, which has a much larger player base on PlayStation versus PC, but then somebody's going to turn around and they're going to cite something like Helldivers 2, and they're going to say, yeah, way more people played Helldivers 2 on PC. It's like a 60-40 split. So there's no universal rule there either. It's also hard to win that fight because there's just so many more people on PC. Capcom stated 60% of their revenue came from PC. And their games are multiplat. See, that's what I'm saying. You can't argue that PC always gets outshined by console, and you can't argue console always outshines PC. That's not a universal thing in multiplat releases. Talika, thank you so much for 3 months of subs over there on Twitch. So it sounds like you guys were having a discussion specifically about multi-plat games, and you were arguing that multi-plat games typically have more players and are carried by consoles. That's true for a lot of multi-plat games, but it's also not true for a lot of multi-plat games. That was a conversation. You're talking about two different things. No, I understand Moon's position. I think you just swung too far, Moon. If you're going to try to argue that multi-plat games have more players on console, that is true of some, not all. So that gets into a very, very difficult position of like, well, if you can count games like Helldivers 2 for the PC side, and Capcom games, and then somebody's going to answer back and say, but Call of Duty has a much bigger, user base on console compared to PC. Well, then what are we doing? Are we just comparing how many games we can add up that sway one way or the other? This conversation's all over the place because no one is keeping track of the subject started, and I'm just going to let it go before people get heated. Nobody's going to get heated and ban you. We're having a conversation. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's no reason to act like, anyway, no, your 5-month-old account. You're out. Bye. No, he's out. His 5-month-old account, and he knew what he did. He exposed himself. He got into a spat with Mash, called Mash a fanboy, and as people are going to get heated and get banned. You're darn right you're getting banned. You came in and disrupted everything and threw around insults, and your account's 5 months old because you're probably in here on an alt. I don't play with y'all anymore. You come in here on your alts and you disrupt and you insult people. Zubair. Like, that's not even worth our time. He came in and was being disruptive and having a bad faith go with somebody, and then it's like, you're on a 5-month-old account. Okay. Mash says, I had a chance to be a PC fanboy for a minute. Jeez. Brett, before people get banned for no reason. Gets Thanos snapped as he's trying to back off. Way to go, Mash. How's it feel to get that dude banned? For Pete's sakes. I wonder how old my account is. I mean, I don't like to start checking because then everybody wants to know. Let's see. I think some people submitted some questions here. We can try and get debate. We've got Citizen JV says, what are you most excited for with The Witcher 4? All right, here's the deal with The Witcher 4. There's a big debate about this. Obviously, it's relevant because the developers mentioned the Series S. They were specifically asked about the Series S. I'm really, really hoping they can make the combat shine, because I feel like the combat in Witcher 3, it's got some rough edges. Like, you've really, really got to work to enjoy it. A lot of people bounce off of The Witcher 3 because of the combat. I think it could be a lot better. I think they nail the RPG elements. They nail the dialogue. They nail the story and the voice acting. But I think the combat, could be improved quite a bit. Yeah. But on the topic of like The Witcher 4, I think the interesting thing that keeps happening with this discussion is not the answers that are given. It's the fact that it's a known quantity. That's the most interesting thing to me, is that the Series S came up in the Take-Two earnings call. The Series S came up in an interview with CD Projekt Red. Like, they're like, hey, this is your target. Double dip from Dynamite. Thank you so much for 11 months, Dynamite. You the best. It's like a known quantity at this point. Like, it keeps coming up. Like, as soon as somebody says it, and a double dip from Dynamite J with 3 months over here on Twitch. Thank you so much, sir. There we go. Thank you. I really appreciate that, guys. Check your primes. You can double dip. And support me on Twitch. If you're already paying for Amazon Prime, it doesn't cost you anything. You just banned someone with a 6-month-old account. That's kind of messed up. You just scared away anyone that's trying to have a disagreement. The last time I remember asking what you thought about how I banned people was that I didn't actually do that. So I don't care what you think. I have a GOG launcher and Steam on 2 laptops. The combat on The Witcher 3 was weird. I remember enjoying it, but it took a while. Like it took a while. It was like initially I was like, this is kind of awkward. I'm having a hard time with this. And then all of a sudden I forget what I was doing. I was in like an open field and I had like multiple targets and the fight went really, really well. And I was like, okay, I think it's clicking. Because that was the other thing I remember. I haven't played in a really long time. We were doing a playthrough of The Witcher 3 and I forget what we were doing. We went back to it because we initially had played it, but then I pivoted into Destiny. So obviously I didn't have time for The Witcher. And I remember we were doing a segment with it. And it was like I remember people saying, yes, just keep at it, just keep at it. And I remember the combat being especially awkward if there were like multi-targets. And then it got better. Don't you promote discussions? Yeah, with honest people who come in on their real accounts, not people who come in on an alt account. Like, I mean this genuinely. I really do. I'm going to click on your name. Let's see here. Okay, so you have followed me on Twitch since 2017. Okay, so I really mean this. Are you dumb? Do you not understand that when somebody comes in with a 5-month-old account and they're disrupting chat and they're having a go at another chatter and they call them a name, are you dumb? You don't understand what that is? So everyone with less than a 6-month-old account gets banned? Yeah, you're dumb. There it is. We got our answer. You don't even understand what happened. I'm not like, oh, you have a 6-month-old account. Get out. It was like, no, he came in. He had been going back and forth with the guy for like 10 minutes. How do you know it was an alt account? Okay, so let me get this straight. They created an account 5 months ago. They're hanging out in my YouTube channel. I'm not a very big YouTuber. And they're disrupting the entire chat with a bad faith argument. Disrupting by disagreeing with someone? I'll tell you what. I'm just going to help you out. You're done here too. You followed me since 2017 and you just got to fast track out of here. The show is about gaming, not about my decisions as a streamer, and you just made it really easy. Like, just take a frickin' walk. Like, I'm not going to let somebody come in with a brand new account, disrupt chat, and insult one of my users. So you can take a frickin' walk. You could take your 8-year follower record with me and just go hang out somewhere else. I got better things to do with my time than argue about how I handle my channel with you. Like, you get this through your head. You don't get to dictate what happens here. You don't get to like question somebody that like, oh yeah, why would you do that? Well, let's do a whole court case over a frickin' ban. Like, the guy was clearly in here causing trouble. Weird hill to die on? I mean, go ski uphill somewhere else. Doe Devas, thanks so much for renewing your 42 months. I appreciate you, Doe Devas, hitting us to 134. And a 20 bomb comes in from MASH and gets us to 154. He steals it away. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'll never understand why people do that. You want to describe it as a disagreement. It wasn't disagreement. It was disruption. There's a gigantic categorical difference. Keep it classy? What do you mean? I am keeping it classy. You don't get to dictate what happens here. You're not in charge. You don't get to question a simple ban of a disruptor. Jeepers, creepers, buds. I've been doing this for 10 years. You develop a sixth sense, dude. K. Cole with 29 months and a VIP plus, and a 5 bomb comes in from Doe Devas and gets us to 160. Thank you so much, boys. That gets us to, I can't count. There we go. Whoops. That's not quite cropped properly. Let's do one more backspace. There we go. Had to stop work for the bands. Peeps are out of their sneakers today. What's up with these trolls? I don't know. It's it's typically when Xbox is the subject matter. They're all coming in and they're angry, and they got banned probably during ABK coverage. So they've, they need somewhere to get their aggression out, because they certainly won't take it out on Xbox. Mile High with a Prime says, you get a ban and you get a ban and you get a ban. And Snake says, started my new job today. Congrats on your new job, and thank you for 3 months of subscriptions over here on Twitch. You're the freaking best. If you guys have Primes, double check them. If you're paying for Amazon Prime, that's something you can do for free every single month on Twitch. And it supports me directly. I'm going to go get more coffee. Please don't ban me while I'm gone. Oh, don't tempt me with a good time, Zubair. CD Projekt Red is using similar words when it comes to Xbox Series S, as Game Science did as well. Interesting. Yeah, almost as if there's solidarity within the dev world and they're sick of Microsoft's shenanigans. You know? They're probably sick of their shenanigans. Like, I drew attention to this after the Larian interview. If you guys remember, when we were covering that event, I was like, that what Phil did was a giant mistake. I said, you're going to make the platform really unappealing. The watching world of developers are like, oh, wow, you just totally blamed Larian passively. That's really going to make us want to make a game for your platform. Larian ran PR for Xbox for like 3 months. Every time they did an interview, they had to field questions about the Series S. They were very diplomatic. They were very cordial. And Jaggy Snake and Stone Spire are going to bump this by 2. So slow down, Stone. Slow down. I know what you're doing. Stone bumps it to 63, and then it's going to get bumped to 64. I know what Stone Spire's doing. There it is, 165. He's trying to tempt somebody to do a 10 bomb all the way to 175. And it's going to hit 104, and it's going to hit 60 for Twitch. Thank you so much, Jaggy. 50 months for Jaggy. I think the vast chat's majority of people, both old and new, are great in this chat. The few bad apples aren't representative of the rest anyway. Pretty sure we all know that. I'm telling you, that's why I always bounce people like that. And unsurprising, I did that. And then you have people coming in and spamming like hate. You see what I'm saying? You think it's a coincidence that I hit one of your boys with 5 months and now they're all in here on other accounts saying things about what I do with my content. You see what I'm saying? You develop a sixth sense for these things. It's like, no, I know what you're up to. And then they get mad, and then now they're coming in with other accounts. I'm telling you, there's a stench on these people. You can sense it. It's in the way they talk. It's in the way they carry themselves. They stick out like a sore thumb. We have such an active chat. We have over 500 people hanging out. And it's like, nope, I know what you're doing. I've been doing this for 10 years. You guys don't get it. I can sense when you're here, like a disturbance in the force. It's the way you communicate. It's the way you carry yourselves. And then as soon as I see that 5-month-old account, I'm like, gotcha, out. Like, it's easy. It's easy. You guys are lightweight, right? You're like taking out the trash when it's half full, all right? It's easy. Jay with a gifted and Fuzzy with a VIP renewal. Wouldn't it be a shame if I re-upped and ruined it? You son of a... No, thanks so much, Fuzzy. You are ornery. And I love it. Okay, so that takes us to 106. And then a member light renewal from Kino Man Sky says, what game should CD Projekt Red be inspired by the combat system for The Witcher 4? Did you watch Sony's CEO investor call interview? And please don't ban me. Kino Man Sky, I actually like when you're here because you and I disagree regularly, but like you're not disrespectful and you don't have a go at people in chat. So I know that you're not here to be disruptive. Okay, so as far as combat that they should take inspiration from for The Witcher 4, I would look at games like, let me think here. I would look at games like Tsushima. I would look at games like, what other games do you feel like the combat system would be really, really informative to a game like The Witcher? Tsushima, Sekiro, Elden Ring. Elden Ring, yeah, maybe for the stats, the influence of stats. Stellar Blade. You want it to be more action. Are you getting the collector's edition of Yote? Already ordered. You know me, Brooklyn. I was there day one, dude. I was like, that's Ghost. That's Ghost, baby. I gotta be there. I'm there day one, dude. Assassin's Creed? No. Assassin's Creed combat's never been that good. It's fine. Like, AC Shadows was fun, but it got old really quickly because it was very shallow. Many of us like your ban policy for disruptive people. Yeah, listen, we've started to take that route, and I feel like chat's better. We don't get one guide. We don't get sidelined. I think we have better and more productive days when we're more strict. And run to Twitter and call me an echo chamber. Run to your weird sycophantic salt content and call me an echo chamber. I don't care. We have a better day. It's easy to hang out without you. What was I listening for? What's he doing? Okay. What, the thump?
Yeah, it's the basketball hoop in his bedroom. He's found the ball. So he was doing it in his room, and you said
that's too loud. Yeah, it's like right there.
So it doesn't fit on the outside door, any of the outside doors. The sunroom ceiling is too low to fit it on.
Where do you have it?
On the basement door. Facing the door.
So was he shooting from the sunroom?
Yeah. Because we tried to do it, we thought it'd be fun to do it in the sunroom to the door outside. And it doesn't close the door.
And the sunroom ceiling's low, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine on that. Right. That'd be cool if they wanna do an insult.
Yeah.
Because repeating a thoughtless insult shows the level of stupidity just coming from you. You don't have to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
They're speaking volumes of the lack of.
Madam says, y'all, the people that come in with unoriginal insults, Madam says you're stupid, so I'm sorry. Rubber and glue? Okay, bud. We made
Rubber
an
and
email.
glue.
We made this. We were feeling pretty good about your farty joke the other day, and it's an emote now.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I want to see it.
I'll show it to you later.
Okay.
Did you do it or did someone do it?
I did it.
Alright, I don't.
Getting roasted for platinuming and not hating Mind's Eye is enough for me to finally upgrade to Member Plus. Jay, with a Member Plus upgrade, that counts as 2. Jay, listen, you had to take that in stride, homie. You had to think that was funny. The fact you platinumed Mind's Eye, dude. There's like 4 of you in the world, I think. That's great. That's great. Thank you, Jay, for upgrading and jumping in. And Haseo with 43 months in a VIP. I'm glad to be here and hope you had a wonderful Father's Day weekend. Thank you so much. And we are now 5 away. A 5 bomb to take the next milestone. Currently, I owe YouTube 15. Right? I owe YouTube 15. Thank you so much. 4? Did I miscalculate it? I thought we would just hit 70. Are we at 71? The people who platinum Mind's Eye should do a meetup with the people who platinum Concord. Hey, yeah, they need the support. Yes, I do think it's funny. Okay. Can someone post the new emote? He wants to see it. Hang on. Where did I put it? I put it somewhere so that I could save it. It's somewhere in the live chat. Oh, wait. I should just be able to do this. Whoops. There you go. They could reserve a booth at Chili's or something. Xbox making their console line more like their Surface line would be smart. Focus on the OS. Should be a priority for in-house hardware and OEM partners. Jimmy, I personally think that's what they're just going to move to, is OEM partners. I don't think they're going to make their own hardware anymore. Even the one that they're going to do in the future, like the PC hybrid, I don't think they're going to make it. I think somebody else is going to make it. A member light renewal from Resolve says, I posted this in chat earlier, but you probably didn't see it. I always thinking that and modified Shadow of Mordor would fit. Ooh, I actually kind of agree with that. Like Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War Combat was really good. By the way, Resolve, if you're on a gifted, I'm so glad that you got a gifted. If you're paying for your own membership, you want to bump up to Member Plus. It's $1 more. It counts as 2, and that's a huge, huge number that we're focusing on. We need more and more folks to pick up their own membership on the YouTube channel. If you have to ride gifted, we are so glad that you keep getting it. I'm not against that. If you're like, hey man, I can't afford it. But if you can't afford it, $6 a month, bump up. And a gifted comes in from Joker Quinn, and a VIP renewal comes in from Ant and bumps the line to 172. Nobody taking the easy 5-bomb steal. We're going to walk this right to the door of the next milestone of 175. I agree and disagree. I think next gen will be their last, though. Okay, so you think it'll be their last. We're close to the same prediction, though, honestly. I wasn't around during Concord. I'm sure the fanboys harped on that in here a while. I don't think there was almost nobody in here that defended Concord. I mean, there were a couple guys on Twitter that were like, it's fun, I'm having fun, here's me getting a bunch of kills. And the thing that I kept trying to point out to people about Concord gameplay is I was like, bro, you're killing bots. Like, they were killing players that were so bad. And Mass Collectibles jumps in with the Member Plus. Upgrades to Member Plus and brand new Member Plus count as 2. We are at 174. We are a single member away from the next milestone. Who's taking it? Somebody's going to take it any second now with a renewal or a gifted. DC Superman will not be able to punch planets. Okay, gaming. If Xbox decides to, and Kaiser Soze wins for Twitch. He uses his Prime and inches YouTube out with a single. That's why you guys got to grab them. You got to grab them with the bombs when you can. There we go. So I can totally hear it now, and it's not too loud. It's definitely annoying. He's shooting hoops upstairs. All right, here's the 5 that I owe Twitch. I'm waiting until I owe YouTube 20. I'm waiting until I owe YouTube 20 to drop the 20 bomb. Wait, no, I did a 10 bomb for YouTube, didn't I? Oh, no. That was for earlier. Yeah, I'm going to owe you guys 20. Yeah, I saw Donkey Kong Directs later this week. I don't know if we're going to cover that. It's like 9 in the morning, and I don't know if that's worth its own thing. I just don't know. Nintendo's in a weird spot with us. If Xbox tries to drop their next-gen hardware, says Smash, closer to the date, do you think they have a way to offload players to another platform, or can they get out? Hilly says another absolute W for Twitch. That's right. Yeah, I don't know. Could we get 20 more likes on YouTube, y'all? Smash that like button. We got to hit those like milestones. That's one of the reasons we're kind of slipping on the view count, because we weren't doing our diligence with the likes. Yeah, so with the hardware situation, MASH, we were talking about their big focus on backwards compatibility earlier as well. And it's like, I'm not sure where that's going to land, because if they do, let's say this thing is a PC hybrid. By the time it lands, they're going to need some type of a solution within this new OS that they're doing that's going to allow you to play all your 360 and Xbox One games. What do you see what I mean? Like, so you're going to have some type of a PC compatible 360 emulator, which is essentially what your Xbox does right now when you play a 360 game. You know what I mean? And a Member Plus from Norin So Red. Norin, is that an upgrade or a renewal? Let me know in the chat. Upgrades count as 2, so I'll add another one. I'm just going to add 1 for now, and that's an Agent of Chaos. Thank you so much. You upgraded? Oh, that's the best. I'm telling you, there's like two to 3,000 people every single month at Member Light, and it's like, man, I just need a handful of you every month to jump out. It makes it so more people get gifteds, and it's how we're able to do this full time. So thank you for upgrading. Probably just build in the 360 emulator into whatever the box is. Why though? It's not like the 360 had any exclusive games worth playing. Right. But you see that you're getting into like the subjectivity of like, why bother? I don't like any of those games. They've made commitments to backwards compat, so like that would have to be a part of whatever their future hardware is. There are good 360 emulators available. Shouldn't be too difficult, says Faffer. Finally in a place where I can support. I really appreciate that. I'm so glad that you have a gold badge. Like you were able to get gifted all this time, and now you're paying it back. That's what we love to see here, man. That you were able to stay involved and not fall out, and that gifteds were there every month for you. And then Bolnim with 33 months jumps back in. Thank you so much, Bolnim. That's a lot of months, dude. That is a lot of months. You're getting close to 3 years, brother. Tread begging. Dude, the like count, that people say that I beg for likes. The member thing is an incentive that we run every week, and it's really fun, and we have fun Friday nights where I do songs, or Madam plays a game, or we do fun challenges. That's all extra content that, like, you know, I'm begging. You guys are crazy. I beg for likes, man. The like count's been hard to move lately. I have no idea, unfortunately, says Mash. I do think it's an important question for them to answer. Eugene says, Gears Reloaded may be the way they bring people's libraries forward. Offer a new edition of a game they already own. Give it away to people who already own it. At least that's an option. I mean, they made it sound like they were going to use AI to do that, Eugene. Like, they were going to use AI for game preservation. So, but there's so many games, though. There are so many 360 games. When I pull open my library on my Xbox, it is just busting at the seams with 360 and Xbox One games. Okay, that's arriving tomorrow. My capture card's arriving tomorrow, and my PC just says contact the seller if I want to get updates. It's expected by June 19th. Which is in 3 days. Okay, that's exactly what I thought was going to happen, because when I went to order it again, it said get it by June 19th. Okay, so the PC should be here in 3 days. Thanks to the gifted. You're welcome, Masky. Yeah, it didn't show up. It didn't show up on Saturday, and then it all of a sudden updated, and it said that the seller had shipped it, but I have to contact the seller for tracking, and it's expected to arrive on the 19th. So, why are people all of a sudden acting like official and licensed are interchangeable? What are you referring to, Evidence? In my opinion, not every game has to run on this handheld. Not every Nintendo game ran on a Game Boy, Sega to Game Gear, Sony to PSP, even console. Here's the issue with that, though, Caleb. Excuse me. I appreciate you're coming at it from just like a consumer, and you're like, I don't care, right? That doesn't bother me. With the Xbox handheld, it's the fact that people are calling it an Xbox that I think is just confusing to people. It's confusing to people. It's like you're calling it an Xbox. It's not going to function as an Xbox. You're not going to be able to play all your Xbox games. And that's where I don't like it. Where is the Farty Bomb emote? Jack Garland, you should be able to use it. It's Lono Farty. No, mash at a Farty Bomb to kick off the day. You guys are supposed to spam that to either summon one or in reaction to one. So do that. Use that at your discretion. Somebody says, what are you most excited about in Witcher 4? I'm hoping the combat's amazing. Citizen JV submitted a question here and says, what is your guesstimate of digital copies of Gears of War Reloaded? Do you think it'll sell on day one release for PlayStation? I've consistently said that I think Gears will sell better on PlayStation than Halo will. People are calling it an Xbox. It's disingenuous. It's only because more damage to the brand. Feels like it feels a lot like trying to summon Chaos God. That's right. As consoles move closer to PCs, the challenges we used to face will, with backwards compatibility, will go away. As a result, people will expect it. I think that's fair. Yeah, I think that's fair. To be like, it should just be something that you guys do for the consumer. You should just be able to let people play their old games. Are you still playing on your Nintendo 2? Great show. Love your streams. Yeah, we played on the Nintendo Switch 2 over the weekend. We played Mario Party, and then my kiddos were playing some Mario Kart. My daughter was playing the mini games by herself in Mario Party. If I wasn't working my way through Expedition 33, I would be playing Tears of the Kingdom, but I've got to finish Expedition before Death Stranding 2 gets here. So, if they're emulating 360 games on the series, then emulating on a hybrid should be trivial. Just run the same emulator. It's just got to be strong enough to run it. You're probably right. Yeah. Isn't that... Did they do the same thing for the Xbox One? Do they basically run an emulator for the Xbox One games when you boot them up on your Series X? I'm assuming that's what they do. Then they just need those emulators. My son approves of the Farty Bomb emote. He says approved. 101? 101? Why did he say 101? The only real console that we haven't had because backwards compatibility is the PS3. 360 was different architecture, so it seems to be emulated. How is the new Mario Party? I think it's great. I think it's fun. The mini games are cool. I played Alters yesterday, started at 6 p.m. Before I knew it, it was 11. Okay, answer me this, Mask Collectibles. Kirk responded to my tweet about it, and he was scathing about that game. Like, I just want you to hear what he said, and I want to know if other people had this experience. Twitter was acting up, and it wouldn't let me reply to him. Like, I literally could not reply to him. Let's see here. Fans of the competitive soccer game Rematch are in an uproar over crashes, server lag, and microtransaction prices in the first 3-day early access period. Oh, no. Oh, where's my tweet? Okay, so here's what Kirk said, and I'm not putting him on blast. I didn't get this far. So I'm genuinely curious if he made a mistake or something. Does he not? Maybe he's not aware of a system or something. Because they said in the review guide to make a scientist as fast as you could. He says, I'm like the only person that doesn't like the alters, but it's borderline unplayable if end of Act 1 or Act 2 you get a fail state. I don't know what he's talking about here. I've had to replay 3 to 5 hour segments because, by design, it demands engaging with its most mundane gameplay elements and ignoring the compelling narrative ones. I don't know what he's talking about. He says, I think it's a very poorly designed game, structured like a resource-gathering crafting mobile game that sells time savers or shortcuts for money, only instead the player must choose to execute every day with painstaking efficiency or actually enjoy it until hitting a non-progressible wall. I don't know what he's talking about. I didn't see anybody else saying this. I'm like, did he miss something? Did he miss a step? And so, like, he's got a... Does he have, like, basically, like, a bad save? Did he soft lock himself or something? I saw one review, PCGamesN.com. I saw one review speaking to something with the resource thing being a pain. Thank you so much for the Prime renewal, RW Friend Jr. And that gets us to 179. What a strong start to the week, man. Re-ups and gifteds and new, they all count. Thank you so much for the support of the channel. We're off to a great start. You guys are ahead of pace, which is great, because Friday night, it's just me. I'm going to throw the gauntlet down. If you guys hit 1,000 this week, which you guys have hit previously, I will do the first full album. We'll listen to it all. We'll go through everything. It'll be a dadgum blast. That's your big stretch goal this week. I'll still do the same thing we always do. Like, we'll pick a game. We'll do every 100 songs. But if you guys get to 1,000, I'm just going to drop the whole thing. We'll do it one at a time. New month on Twitch. Check Primes. That's right. It's a new month. It rolled over. Excuse me. Gee, many Christmas. You can easily mess up if you're bad at resource management, says El Dudorino. Oh, MASH. And a 50 bomb from MASH. I want to see some farty bomb emotes in the chat. Spam them. The man himself says it. He says, let's go all the way. 229. He is a madman. There it is. That actually looks really good in the chat with the names scrolling. It looks good. It's on brand. It matches the alert. I like it. I dig it. My son he's gonna be so pleased with himself. Farty bomb. Oh, I love it. Oh man. I'll do my 20 when his calms down. Let me scroll back up here and see. Well, love the spam. You guys are doing great. The problem is the game has different systems interacting with each other, and it might actually be a lot for people. That's so untrue. I'm basically at the end of Act 1, and it's stressful and fun as F. The pacing is wonderful, in my opinion. So has anybody else had the experience that Kirk had, where you get stuck or you get like fail states and stuff like that? Like, I don't know. And a single comes in from Stone Spire. Stone Spire says, hey, I tell you what, Twitch, it's your time to shine. He's setting up a 20 bomb dunker, 20 bomb to the next milestone of 250. You guys want more Mario Kart Friday night? We'll have a big celebration. If we hit 1,000 on the week, we'll do Mario Kart with the community. I'll let a bunch of you come in and race. It'll be a dadgum blast, and I'll release the first album. I'll let you guys hear every song. I don't know what game we're talking about. Okay, it's called The Altars. It's called The Altars. And I didn't get far enough to understand what Kirk was talking about. I had just gotten to Act 1, and I was like, okay, now it's time for us to jump into the Gears beta. So I had to put The Altars down before I got to the point that he said things can get really, really irritating. You go, oh, you guys want to play Rematch? That would actually be really, really fun. That would actually be really, really fun. What Xbox game specifically do we know does not work on the Xbox ROG Ally? Any that are not included in the Play Anywhere. So a lot. If it's not a Play Anywhere game, it won't work on the Ally. It's not there. Like your catalog of Xbox games right now, if it's not a Play Anywhere game, you can't play it on the Ally. So a lot. Yo, Haseo comes in with a gifted. And he says, if somebody does the 20 bomb, it's going to be an Agents of Chaos. Thank you so much. What do we got here? Is that right? No, it should be that. There we go. A 5-spot from Resolve. I have YouTube Premium, and I don't see the button to press so that I can join. That's why I've always done Super Chats. Maybe I'm missing something. You have a red badge, Resolve. You're on Member Lite. You got to use the upgrade command and see if it helps you. Use the upgrade command and see if it gets you to the spot where it lets you upgrade off of Member Lite. Haseo says I can give more Friday. You're the man, Haseo. I appreciate your support, man. You're always really positive in the Discord. You're always being dope. I love Play Anywhere, but it's only certain games. Well, if Rematch is having a bunch of problems with servers and crashes, we might forego it today. I was going to stream it, but if I can't keep streaming games where we don't even get to do gameplay because of the server issues. Like for Gears, it made sense because, it's Gears, but Rematch, I don't know if I'm willing to do that. Technically, you can play any of your games, but you have to stream it from your Xbox. But that takes good internet at home and good internet where you play. Give my guy Trill some slack. What are you talking about? I'm watching a guy playing right now, and he hasn't crashed. He's in Europe, though. He's also playing ranked. Give it a shot for like 20 minutes. I just got the PlayStation Portal yesterday with the addition of the iCloud beta. Do we think that might be an undervalued handheld? Cross-play between Steam, PlayStation, and Xbox won't be available at launch, but it's one of our top priorities. We'll share an ETA as soon as possible. Yeah, I mean, at least they're going to add it, but not having crossplay for a multiplayer game is just unacceptable these days, dude. What are you doing, boys? Yeah, mass collectibles. So The PlayStation Portal, I have argued that the Portal will only go up in value. So you buy it for $200, and it's a great device for $200. It really is. I've used it in a hotel. I've used it here. When you're home, obviously on the same network, it's better. But I've used it at a hotel and had zero problems. Like, if you have good internet at your house, and now that I can put my PlayStation on fiber when I leave, I'm probably going to have a much better experience. As long as I've got good internet wherever I go, it should work really well. I've actually not tried the Portal on the fiber because the ATT, I have the Wi-Fi disabled. I don't know how to even go in and turn that on. I had the guy, I said I don't need it. I'm trying to think of how I could do that. Oh, I could run it off of the same. I've got a router I could just plug them into. Yeah, that's what I could do. Okay, anyway. I need to get that Wi-Fi, the higher Wi-Fi mesh system in the house anyway. How does Feed not have a gifted? I don't know. Anyways, I have argued that the Portal, once they added iCloud, which I told people they were going to do, and I got a lot of disagreement on that. I was kind of surprised, but I got a lot of disagreement on that. I was like, I think they're going to add cloud, and people were like, no, it's only going to be a remote play. And I'm like, cloud is remote play. It's the same idea. You're just playing on a server stack instead of your own PlayStation. Anyways, they added iCloud, and the more they add to that iCloud list of games, the value of the device just keeps going up. You can just do more and more and more with it. Did I say iCloud? I didn't mean to say iCloud. Cloud. Sorry. Did you say put PS5 on fiber? What do you mean? AT&T fiber? Like the faster internet you can get in some neighborhoods? So yeah, sorry, not iCloud. The more they add to the cloud, the gaming, the cloud gaming list, the better the value of the device. A lot disagreed with that. A few of us tried to say all they have to do is send an update, which they did. Right. Should have guessed at the moment we knew it could receive firmware updates. They've done firmware updates even before they added cloud that just helps with the latency in general. Like, it's just a really nice device. The people that trash talk that, I just don't think they were paying attention. I was like, it's not even that expensive. It's a controller with a screen in it. Like, there are elite controllers that cost that much. Oh, you said iCloud. Okay, you messed me up. That'll be $1. No, I'm just kidding. You can't do that to me. I just read chat. My PlayStation 5 is on Pro is on fiber, and I've been outside the country, Mexico, and my Portal has worked like using my home Wi-Fi. That's incredible, Corey. That's incredible. Corey, there's someone in chat who platinumed Mind's Eye. So, if you're still looking for your first friend, I'm kidding. Oh, golly. Oh, Corey, you know I love you. Oh, gosh. Yeah, you'll be happy to know. And he's here right now. Fiber internet opposed to copper regular broadband internet, which has a cap on speed. Yes. Yeah, the biggest issue being upload typically. Like, I've got cable and it's fast on the download, but the upload it's never even close to what you can get on fiber. All those bands from Lono got him amped. He's being feisty. That's right. My daughter got me Mind's Eye for Father's Day. So, have you already disowned her, or are you going to process, like, the paperwork later today? I'm never going to live down my temporary defense of Mind's Eye. I deserve that. You do. And I'm getting you back anyway because of all the crap you've ever said about Hellblade. So, I'm just, this is my revenge. Corey, you should know, if you cross me, the snapback of revenge will be way worse. You should know better, right? Oh, so she hates you. I'm sorry to hear that. I think Dirge's joke is better than mine. That's pretty good. She hates you that much? No, Dirge's phrasing is better. Oh, so she hates you. I'm sorry to hear that. That's good. Did you keep the receipt for your daughter, not the game? That's not bad. That's not bad. Those are all very good. Those are excellent. Those are excellent. Chat's doing a very good job today. Zubair is must be very proud. He's a proud papa. The fact that she got a game and not a set of towels. You know, actually, if she's not in the gaming world, then you got a great kid, because she's like, my dad likes video games. This is a new video game, right? So I would say, if she's actually tuned into the gaming world, then, you know, it's time to have a conversation. What's the verdict after playing Mind's Eye? Oh, he admitted that it's bad. Yeah, Corey has not tried to defend it since. Grubby with 16 months in a VIP. Oh, boy. 232, and it's going to be a 2. Resolve figured it out. So it's a 232, but now it's a 234. It's a double. I count those as doubles, man. Thank you so much. So that's a 72. Thank you so much, man. What a killer start to the weekend. Thank you, Resolve, for figuring out how to bump up the Member Plus. I need more people to do that, man. 2 or 3 people already did it today. Already today. Go watch Madam trying to chase the drone through the desert. It's something. It's something. There is, in fact, a lot of hilarious mother effers in chat. I just deal in volume, but people drop bangers on the regular. This is true. That's the most delayed clapback in history, but Mind's Eye and Hellblade have something in common. They both have bad combat. I will... Listen, now, Corey, I'm going to be honest with you, all right? I banned a lot of fucking people today. You better watch yourself. You better watch yourself, bro. In the words of Walter White, tread lightly. Start with this. You want to start with this again on Hellblade's combat being bad. Well, I suppose if you're talking about Hellblade 2, I would agree with you. What Lono's saying is he holds on to things like a woman, and he'll bring it up 3 years later in the middle of an unrelated disagreement. No, that's not it at all. I don't hold on to things and bring them up 3 years later. I just never forget. I'm kidding. It's different. It's different. It's not like I'm holding on to, like, I'll get you for this one day. I just have this ever-present memory of, I'm just kidding. I'm going to get you back. Hellblade 2 isn't real. It can't hurt us. Oh. This is right. This is right. Almost an elephant confirmed. I actually do have a really, really good memory. But the irony, not the irony, I guess the comedy in these jokes is that I've actually had to let go of a lot and not hold grudges, or I would be dead. I would probably have like eight different terminal illnesses if I held on to grudges for everything that happened over the course of my my life and career. I would just be dead. They'd be like, we don't know what happened to him. Every part of his body got infected with some kind of a terminal illness, and I'm just like holding on to grudges, like, you know, that would be me in the casket, just like, you know, when that many people do you that wrong, you got to figure out a way to let go. Maybe it's just taking it out on chat. Maybe that's it. You know, I'm the guy that comes home from work and he berates his family because he hates his job. You know, so he doesn't hold grudges at work. He that's his therapy. You know, you guys are. I verbally take it out on you. Here lies Lono. Died of spontaneous combustion. Middle-aged man yells at cloud. This is it. Grudge Man, new superhero. Why isn't the PlayStation Portal more popular? At 200, you think this thing would have been seen everywhere? What do you mean, why isn't it more popular? It exceeded all of their expectations of demand and has been like one of the top selling accessories. I'm not sure what you mean. It has gone well beyond what they expected it to do. It has been very popular, actually. I never forget. Meanwhile, Fuzzy frantically getting the clip. What did I forget? Oh. I never forget. Unless it's that I owe you guys an emote that I was supposed to do for Friday. It's one of the best selling accessories. How much more popular does it need to be? Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean. Like, I don't know. The Switch has skewed people's understanding of a mobile concept PC market. In what way, Eugene? It only got minimal advertising as an accessory? Yeah, I mean, I thought they advertised it a pretty good amount. I mean, they did a commercial for it with the kid from Stranger Things. I mean, that wasn't cheap. Remember? We watched a commercial, and I said, do you think they're selling, something to people who view gaming as a luxury, or are they selling this to people who view gaming as like, I have to play, and spend as little as possible? The kid? Well, he's not really a kid anymore. He's a kid to me. I mean, come on, dude. He'll always be a kid to me. That's just the way that it goes. You ever been talking to like an older person? They're like, oh yeah, that was the kid in that movie. And you're like, Grandma, they're in their 50s now. And you're like, yeah, that's the kid I was talking about. You know what I mean? Windows Central's Jez Corden has taken it upon himself to reassure gamers that backward compatibility will be retained at a hardware level without even needing emulation. Really? Was he watching the show today? Jez stops by every now and again. Has he written an article about this? That's interesting. So he's saying it won't be an emulator. Where did he write about this? Did he write about it in his Windows 11 thing? Does he Grounded 2's best feature? Or is it like a tweet? All right, hang on. WCCF Tech's reporting on this. In his latest episode of a podcast, okay, here's the relevant quote. I can pretty much confirm I'm like maybe 2 or 3 sources off writing a report on this. Okay, so he's waiting to write the report on it. He wants some more sources. But the next Xbox is like 100% or 99.999 recurring running your console games. Because I've seen that fear out there a lot at the moment. What's it like? Oh my God, the next Xbox won't run console games. I was saying if they just do the PC hybrid, what's their approach going to be here, right? Because that's not what we currently have in the market. It's only going to be a PC. It's going to be like the ROG Ally. I don't even know if they're going to make it, though. It's going to be made by Asus. Yeah, this is part of my prediction. I don't know if they're even going to make it because Tom put in his article something like, I believe Microsoft will still make their own hardware. I mean, they said they will. You and I both know, Jez, man. They've said a lot, though. The thing is, Xbox has said a lot of things in the past. Aha, see? That's good. That's good. Now, you got to acknowledge that. They've said a lot. When Tom says, I believe they're going to make it, that exposes an issue with Microsoft's messaging. People don't really trust what they say anymore because they've gone back on their word so many times. I think this is exactly what needs to be stated. You got to properly contextualize your trust. Like, Jez is not saying, oh, they said they're going to do it, so I'm trusting it. He's going to probably base this on the number of sources. Which, again, why I've been told by a bunch of people, see? Like, I think the logic flows here rather well. He's like, they've said a lot. He is basing this on the fact that he's heard from multiple sources. The next Xbox has the silicon for running Xbox One and Series X and 360 games natively. At least that's what's in the backwards compatibility program. And then everything you own on Xbox One, Series X, and S, these will be playable on the next Microsoft Xbox. But I would not be surprised if there's an Asus ROG Gaming all-in-one that also is just like a PC, like Tom said. And to be fair, Tom was one of the first people, I think, who officially reported on the idea of a third-party Xbox hardware. I didn't believe him at the time, but the more I've looked into it, I was like, oh, blank, yeah, he's right. So shout out to Tom for that. Okay. So again, it sounds like we are all in the exact same hemisphere of predictions. Like, Jez is saying, I've got too many sources telling me they're going to make something that'll be backwards compatible, okay? He also seems to agree, yeah, they probably will have Asus making something as well. I'm saying they're going to scrap their own hardware. I'm just making a prediction. I don't have sources. I'm making a prediction. I think they're going to scrap their own hardware, and they're just going to let somebody like Asus make it for them. They'll load their OS on there, and then that will be where the backwards compatibility program exists. Like, they're going to make it to where you don't run an emulator, you be running it native. So again, I think we're all so stinking close to making the exact same, sort of prediction. They either do both their own and Asus, but here's the thing. I'm not going to speak for him, but I bet Jez would agree with this. You got to be a little concerned that as soon as they pushed out an Asus handheld, they backed off their own, and then we hear, they've canceled their own. They could do the same thing with a PC hybrid. They could say, well, Asus is going to make it. Just let them do it. And then they back off on their own. His pushback would probably be, I've heard from too many sources and they have the raw materials to do it. And so he would probably say, no, I still believe they're going to do it. And I think that's perfectly fine and a perfectly legitimate position. But their behavior with this handheld would really give me pause before thinking, oh, they're definitely going to do their own their own console hybrid. So we'll see. If I can get a box for my living room that has Steam on it, I'm happy. So that's all I really care about. I don't want to put a PC in my living room. You give me something that's convenient and built for that, I'm a happy camper. Microsoft hates creating hardware. Xbox is another victim of their bad process. Paul says, Jez doesn't know what he's saying. The Xbox Series running a 360 game is emulation. It's the same way the next console would work. Wait, but he seems to be indicating... let me go back and read it. He seems to be indicating something different. He says, I've been told by a bunch of people the next Xbox... Let me get it on screen. I can't highlight the text very well. I've been told by a bunch of people that the next Xbox has a silicon for running Xbox One and Series X and 360 games natively. He seems to be speaking about something else here. Because he's including even, Series X, Xbox One, all the way back to 360. That's why that doesn't make any sense. It would require patching all those games. Yeah, I guess how would that work? Hey, 16 months from David Houdat. Incredible Blacks out here spamming the Lono farty emote. The farty bomb. There it is. We're at 235. Thank you so much. Googly with a big super chat as usual says, same thoughts. I have a 5090 PC in my study, but I only use a PS5 Pro in the living room despite having a much larger TV there. Thank you, Googly. I appreciate that. Juice wouldn't be worth the squeeze. They aren't putting a 360 chip in the next Xbox. I don't know. I can only tell you what he is saying, and he's saying he is relaying what he has been told. So you can't pin it on him and be like, he doesn't know what he's talking about or what he's saying is stupid. It's like he's just telling you what he was told. He was told by a bunch of people they're gonna be playing those games natively. That could turn out to be false. He's just relaying what he's been told. If I had sources at a company and they all said a bunch of stuff that seemed kind of crazy and I said it, you can't be like, you're dumb, you don't know what you're talking about. I'd be like, I'm not the one that said it. I'm just telling you what a bunch of people told me. You guys have got to start to disconnect that from the ridicule. It's like he didn't come out and like make this up. He's telling us and he's saying, yeah, a lot of people said this to me. He's confusing native and emulation because he doesn't know. So he doesn't know what to ask. Why would he use the word natively though? Yo, what's good, Hex? Thanks for 3 months. Bumps the line to 63 for Twitch. A respectable day. A respectable day for Twitch. Hanging in there in the fight when you got Mash dropping 50 bombs to celebrate the farty bomb emote. It's kind of tough, Hex, for Twitch. The one in the series were both x86. They don't need emulation. Okay, so just 360. Silicon is hardware that's native. Emulation is software. It's quite possible he misspoke. He may have meant to say Xbox One and Series S and X native, and maybe he included 360 by mistake. I mean, he wasn't typing; he was speaking on a podcast. I can make that mistake and do grouping or say the wrong word. I mean, earlier I was saying freaking iCloud. So, I mean, we would obviously have to ask him. He may clarify today now that WCCF Tech picked up and ran with the story. SDO gifts a single and gets us to 237. Thank you so much for doing that. Oops. Thank you. SDO. 360 in the OG Xbox. Emulation or not, the game is running natively if the device is running the game. So he's not saying anything wrong then. The device is running it. You're not running it through the cloud or something. Oh, I wonder if that's what he was contrasting in his mind and thinking about. Like a lot of maybe the classic games and stuff that you play through. Don't you play like the retro games through the cloud? Don't you play some of the retro Nintendo games through the cloud? Or are those all installed? I'm not sure. Maybe he was thinking about that and thinking that like it'll be native. You won't be playing it on the cloud. You'll be playing it not remotely, not through the cloud. You'll be playing it on the device. Yeah. Obviously the reports will make the rounds and he can always tweet and clarify. The retro Nintendo games are on the device. What was the thing recently that was retro on the cloud then? Was it that retro collection? Is that running in an emulator? We looked at something recently. Hang on, what's Keith saying? My stupid Twitter. I see a tweet that I'm interested in and then it disappears. I am Mighty Keith. He said, "You're Unk now." Keith said, "Borderlands 4 won't be 80. Gamers won." I mean, did Pitchford pull a 900 IQ play? And was he basically like, I'm going to step in it. I'm going to show the publisher how angry everybody's going to get. And then the publisher thought, well, dadgummit, now it's got to be 70. Do you think he operates at that level? Like he thought, I'm going to do this. It's going to make everybody angry. And then the publisher's going to be like, you son of a gun. We've got to do 70 now. Big news is no price increase for Borderlands 4. Standard edition launches not at 80, but at $69.99. They're showing you, so please show them. You can find links prior to Borderlands 4 PC console store pages here. He might be insane enough to try that. Because he gave such a good answer at the Q&A, and then he got on Twitter, and he just kept, like, making people angry. And I'm like, what are you doing? I didn't mind his answer because I don't get offended by a CEO just being honest. It didn't upset me, but I also thought that was not a great look. You ticked everybody off. You have to know how reactionary the industry and the internet is these days. This guy says here, been a while, but I need to get back watching the shows. But before I went to PC, I didn't care for Play Anywhere. Now it's definitely a decider if I will be from Steam or Xbox Store. Oh, if I buy. I love the capability, but I'll be back on the channel soon. Enjoy your content. I appreciate that. Thank you. Apex Drizzy said that on Twitter. Make people mad at a fake 80 price. No, Siriu. I think he knew this. I'm just theorizing here. I'm not saying I think this. I'm just throwing out a possibility. What if Pitchford knew that they were considering the $80 price point, and he said what he said, knowing I'm going to make everybody get really, really angry at the prospect of this? It will create public pressure to not do 80. The publishers are going to see that story went viral. There were YouTube videos, there were articles. So you see what I'm saying? Did he basically say, you don't want to put this at 80, and I'm going to show you why you don't want to put it at 80, because people are going to get angry, and he makes everybody angry. And then he's like, see, you can't price this at 80. People are going to revolt. And they're like, fine. I mean, what he did was kind of risky, honestly, because he made it clear it wasn't his call, which could be almost like passively combative toward the publisher. I think they were going to definitely try for 80. I think he knew they were going to try for 80. Now, I don't know if he operates at that level of IQ where he was like, yeah, I'm going to stir up the masses, and then they're going to back off the 80. I don't think he was like doing a fake out so then like the $70 would be good news. I think he knew, like, yeah, this publisher's going to try and pull 80 on this game. And I think he knew you can't charge 80 for Borderlands. Like, that was the big thing that Asmongold kept hammering away at. He was like, if there's a game that you're going to pay 80 for, he's like, it's not Borderlands. It just doesn't have that vibe. It doesn't have that look and feel. And there are times where I do not agree with Zach, and there are times where I do. And I was like, Zach's right. Like, I think the average person is going to be like $80 for Borderlands. Now, I argued the replay value of it is a lot higher than some of these other $80 games that are going to be hitting the market. But that's obviously subjective to the user. I don't think $80 was the right price point for Borderlands, but at the very least, it's a game with 4 characters and a lot of replay value. So you at least know you're not doing like a 10-hour playthrough and then you never touch it again. But it's the optics. It's like it just doesn't posture like an $80 game. What is this? Hang on. Oh, I'm gonna snooze the ring since they're now telling me my PC will be here in a couple of days. Did I drop my 20 yet? I think I owe. Yeah, I said I was going to do 20 when MASH is slowed down. Let me do the 20 that I owe you guys. Where did he lift the thumb drive at the Renaissance Fair on purpose? He's brilliant. I thought people looked into that, and it was not what everybody said it was. Like, I don't know. Obviously, it was questionable, but it wasn't what people originally said it was. What should an $8 game look like? I mean, Death Stranding is 70. That's my point. It's the optics of it. It's the optics of it. It's like you got games like Death Stranding 2 at 70 and you're going to come out with Borderlands at 80. It would have looked ridiculous. It's going to look ridiculous for Xbox games to do it, and it would have looked even more ridiculous for Borderlands to do it. It would have been like, what are you doing? You got a new PC? Yeah, we ordered it. Creature made a really good case to me on the phone. He was like, listen, you know, we've had an uptick by being on Twitch. This is a worthy purchase because if your computer has any issues, you don't have a backup. You have a 2080 Ti with an attitude problem. And he was more right than he knows. We would not be able to multi-stream like this on any of the rigs in my house. If this thing had an issue, I'd be cooked. So we got a 7800 X3D 5070 Ti. It's basically this rig with stronger stuff, and it was like the same price. So they're selling out everywhere. What's a 2080 rig Ti doing now? It's my gaming rig that we watch trailers on. Oh, what's it going to do? I don't know. I may try to get them all like scraped down to nothing and see if the local place will buy them. Like, hey, can you scrub these of all my information, and do you want to buy them for, and then, you know, you could then resell them to people? Because even if they only give me, you know, $500 for them, I'm not going to do anything with them. They're just going to sit around. Now, I think I'm going to take one of them and repurpose them for the kids to use for school. But I've got some old rigs that they're just not worth messing with. They're so old, they'd be unreliable. Is it going to be the new main streaming rig? No, it's going to be the gaming rig. We don't need a stronger rig for streaming. This creature fellow seems to make a lot of good points and arguments. He has his moments, Mash. Don't give him a big head about it, all right? I got to put up with enough of his, telling me what to do, which I am bad at receiving that. Lono slowly becoming PC Master Race. I like when people get into my comments and they call me a peasant, and I'm like, my streaming rig's probably stronger than your rig. I don't even play on it. Like, what? I don't know. What do you want me to say? You going to PC gaming? No, I will not be turning into a PC gaming guy. No, but I'm going to have a PC that I can play games on and crank the settings and not to worry. Put that 4070 to use for games? No. Give them the goodwill. I love buying old PCs and gleaning info. I mean, reformatting the hard drives for other uses. I got a bigger GPU than you. I mean, I hope that makes you feel better about yourself. I don't care. The moment he started talking about the ray tracing, global illumination, and AC shadows, I knew he was doomed. You say that, but a few games at 1440, 240, and you'll be citing a different story. Well, you got to remember something about me, Zubair. I was playing 144 Fortnite and 144, and I bumped it down eventually to 120, but I was playing 120 Destiny and 120 Fortnite. And I voluntarily bumped everything down to 60 because it just stopped causing issues with capture. Like, I don't think I'll be as compelled maybe as you think. I'll be like, ooh, it's pretty, but I'm not going to start gaming in here. Why not use one of the rigs as like a home server or something like that? Because they're old and not that reliable, so that it wouldn't be worth repurposing any of them. Like, the youngest one in the room is going to be 5 years old. 5 years old. 6 years old. When did Borderlands 3 release? Yeah, Madams is 6 years old. That one's 6 years old. That one's 5 years old. The streaming one is 6 years old. They're like 5 and 6 year old rigs. Like, they're really unreliable now. Like, because they just sit and they don't do anything. So you go to turn them on and like they just act funny. When I was trying to play Windblown in my living room co-op, I spent an entire day reinstalling Windows on one of them, and it just kept having issues and kept blue screening. And I was like, and I eventually got it to work, and I was like, I don't even know if it's working or did I get lucky. And then we ended up not even playing because I didn't want to buy Windblown twice, and I didn't think Madam would like it. The 5070 Ti is already better than your Pro, and it won't be enough to make me game in here, boys. At some level, I think I'll wear that proudly. I'll be like, I've got a 5070 Ti. I've got a stronger rig than most of the people that give me grief, and I'll still game in my living room on a Pro. Like, it's... For PC heads, it feels like a console experience, but for the console guys, it feels like a PC experience. Huh? Leaf blow. Now that's a shout back. You got it to have a backup. We got it for a handful of reasons. We got it for the backup, but we also got it because there have been games that come out for PC or ports and things we want to test out, and I just don't do it. Because the 2080 Ti rig, it acts up. It's old. It's grumpy. It's, as Creature said, it's got an attitude problem. It's not reliable. So I just don't really play games on it anymore. It's just I don't have the luxury of like having that thing act up on me in the middle of a stream. And I don't have a need for a home server. I wouldn't do anything with it. Shuhei Yoshida says PlayStation doesn't view Nintendo as competition except for in Japan. Inside Sony, even when they do a business analysis, Nintendo doesn't show up. Not that they're ignoring Nintendo, but that they don't necessarily feel Nintendo is competition because Nintendo is covering a different audience. Except for one market, Japan. In Japan, Nintendo is strong, and Xbox doesn't exist. It's all about Nintendo versus Sony. So PlayStation people working in Japan see Nintendo clearly as competition, but outside of Japan, PlayStation people clearly see Xbox as a primary competition. No Twitch partner update. Not yet. And again, I'm assuming that's because we actually hit the threshold required, and they're doing, a real person is probably doing an actual audit on the channel. The last 2 times it was automatic. 24 hours later, they just rejected it. The first one was like, there's no data on your channel. I'd been streaming for like 2 or 3 days. When I'd been streaming for a month, it automatically kicked it back and says, we require 2 months of data. And I was like, okay. I don't know why the first email didn't say that. It should have just said that, and I would have waited. So I think we've hit the threshold required, which means an actual person has to audit the channel. They got to make sure I'm not sitting on here being an idiot, right? Well, he's got a lot of viewers. Where'd this guy come from? Like, I could be sitting on here being really, dancing on the TOS lines and being, pulling up people's content and being gross and nasty and toxic. And they want to make sure that the viewership is not because of those things. Because you could, anybody that sees my channel is going to be curious, okay, he was off the platform for 4 years, and now he's back, and he has good enough viewership to get partnered. Okay, what's he doing? What's his content like? Are there any reports? Are there any complaints? Is he really attractive? Obviously, I am, so I think that's going to play a part in the... How bad is Xbox doing in Japan as percentage relative to PlayStation? I mean, basically, Shuhei says that Xbox almost doesn't exist, he said. He says that. Xbox almost doesn't exist in Japan. This is why Phil Spencer said it was their place where they could see the most growth. He said, he was like, that's where they could see the most growth, was in Japan. With PC Game Pass specifically. Is he delusional and disconnected from reality? Yes, totally yes. You ban people with 5-month-old accounts, they're going to be like, nah, we're not giving it to this guy. This is true. Stellar Blade CEO admits the story was a letdown, but he promises to do better in the future. How are people even aiming in this Stellar Blade Nikki DLC? Like, how are you even keeping your eyes on the target? So, I think we'll be able to play PC and Steam games on the next Xbox. Jez says Xbox Series X successor console is closer to a traditional console and doesn't appear to be designed to play PC games. That's not true. He didn't say that. When did he say that? The next Xbox is planned at the moment to have Silicon that will be back compat with current Xbox platform console. But I think after that, next gen, we're going to see increasingly cloud remote play emulation, back compat. Moving to long-term XPC will be difficult. They're putting words in his mouth. He didn't say that.
We're going to this.
Yeah.
He's staying across the street.
Okay, that's fine.
The front door's going to be unlocked. So if there's a problem, he can come out.
Okay.
If he comes back because of a problem, he can't watch it.
Okay.
Right.
That's fair.
You need anything?
No, Yo, it's good, Moose. Return to the channel after a long week. Happy to see you keep trucking. Thank you, Moose. Lona, you're the most strategic, systematic streamer I've ever known, far from being called an idiot. I'm the most strategic, most systematic streamer? Seriously? Got a question for you. He says, Insomniac Black, concerning Stellar Blade CEO, do you think that he's on track to become one of the most beloved CEOs and studios in gaming? I mean, you know, everybody's going to... I think gamers, yes, are going to love him. And it makes sense, right? Like when you have a very, very clear style that you're going for, that you know appeals to people. And you're not shy about it. they didn't quite go as far as how First Descendant didn't even try to hide it. Like, they've tried to be a little bit more classy with Stellar Blade than First Descendant. Like, First Descendant's just like, no, this is what we're selling. We're literally selling, Gooner material. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if people end up thinking, he's one of the CEOs they really like, and that's going to be, I think, a lot of the reason why. We'd be mad when the next Xbox can play PlayStation games. I've spoken on this numerous times. I don't think PlayStation will allow it, but I don't care at all if it can. It doesn't affect me in any way. I celebrated when Ghost of Tsushima and Returnal came to PC because they're two of my favorite games. I was in support of Helldivers 2 going to Xbox. I always stop short and say there's no business incentive to do Helldivers on Xbox. And I think, again, from the business side of things, I think PlayStation will say no to that. They will say no. If it's considered an Xbox console PC hybrid, I think they will want the games to be blocked because it runs contrary to their strategy. They spoke even recently about they're going to continue doing that strategy of sending the tentpole titles over to PC later, and the goal is to get them to come over to PlayStation. An Xbox PC console hybrid, that's not an additive market that you're trying to coax over to PlayStation. I would imagine, again, and this is purely business strategy, I don't give a crap. I literally don't care. It doesn't do anything to me because I go where I think I'm getting the best experience. I go where I feel like I'm getting the best games, and I feel like PlayStation's been more consistent. But if I have to go to PC for a game, I'll have a PC very soon that I'll be able to go to if I need to. I'm more nomadic than I think people think because they view me through the lens of like Twitter mob hate. And they don't understand that I've just been nomadic as a gamer. I've never stayed in one place for very long. So it doesn't affect my enjoyment of, like, let's say Ghost of Yote as an example. It's coming out this year. It's my most anticipated game. Let's say it lands on PC in 2 years. And I'm excited. I'm like, oh, I can't wait for you guys on PC to experience it. It's such a good game. And let's say that PlayStation just doesn't care. They're like, we don't care if it runs on that Xbox PC hybrid. That doesn't bother me. That's just more people who have a chance to play a great game. It's like, yeah, buy it. It's great. And guess what? It supports a developer that I like. It supports Sucker Punch. It supports PlayStation. It supports an ecosystem that I think gives me great games. So I wouldn't be bothered by it at all. I'd be like, yeah, go ahead, buy it. I think people think about this stuff backwards. Like, I remember watching Hardcore Ponies celebrate that The Last of Us Part 1 ported to PC and was running poorly. And they were like mocking PC people. I'm like, are you stupid? Do you like The Last of Us? Do you like PlayStation? Do you like Naughty Dog? Why would you celebrate that? That's so tribalistic and dumb. I was very critical of that port. I was critical of the Spider-Man 2 port because you're bringing a bad product to the user. I've always thought that that's the most important thing, that the user gets a very high-quality, high-value product, which is why I support timed exclusivity. The thing about my position is you come in and you just ask me questions like this, you're never going to find a contradiction because it's a consistent position. The thing I value most is the consumer getting a high-value, high-quality product. I don't care about anything before that. That's my starting position, which is why I'm like, timed exclusivity yields really good results in that department. Like, Death Stranding 2 is going to be incredible. Why? It was developed for PS5 first. They worked with Decima. They worked with Guerrilla. And we're going to get a great result. That likely would not have happened in the timeline that it's happening if Kojima was doing a multiplat and trying to make sure that it worked on Series S and Series X and all these different PC combinations. You wouldn't get the game in the time that we're getting it at the quality that we're getting it. So because that's where I start, I'm like, time exclusives are great. The people who are anti-exclusive are just marketing mouthpieces for Xbox. They were all about exclusives until Xbox wasn't, and then they shifted. As soon as Phil blew the dog whistle to be anti-exclusive, they were all suddenly anti-exclusive. They don't like when you say this because it's true. Their positions aren't genuine. Their positions are malleable to the marketing whims of Xbox. So to me, it's like my position doesn't change. And then that also means if Yote lands on PC and someone's playing it on an Xbox console PC hybrid, I literally don't care as long as they got a good experience, as long as they got a good product. I've only said in this discussion that I feel PlayStation will be motivated to stop that. It will feel that it is at odds with their business strategy. I have likely been misrepresented, and I've probably shown up in stuff, and they're saying that, like, you know, Reforge is malding and angry or seething, all those, you know, cliche words that they use, that, you know, Xbox will be able to play a PlayStation game in the future. I don't care. It's why I was upset when Last of Us was bad and excited when Returnal. Like to me, it's a good game coming to more people. Why would I not celebrate that? It's hard to argue with you if you keep using evidence, facts, and you keep a consistent position. Have you considered bad faith arguments and astroturfing? Sorry, MASH. I hate to disappoint you. I have to thank Bumblepants for Expedition 33 months. I'm sorry I didn't call us out sooner, Bumblepants. 33 months and 24 months from Hello Lima. 2 years. That's a red badge. I'm sorry I was slow on those call-outs, boys. I was in the middle of that, and I didn't want to break train of thought. It will be interesting to see if PlayStation can stop their games on PC hardware. I think that would kick off a very interesting lawsuit. No, it wouldn't. They're in determination of where their product lands. There's no lawsuit to be had there. I saw you say that on Twitter, Ginger. What kind of a lawsuit are you talking about exactly? They're the publisher. They can literally block entire regions of the world. They have been up until very recently. What lawsuit? They've already published a game on PC? So, was there a lawsuit when they started region restricting Helldivers? Where's the lawsuit? They randomly region locked people who bought Helldivers, and those people got refunds. That's justifiable. That should have happened. By the way, I was severely against their handling. I'm simply citing an instance where they did this and there were no repercussions. They can be like, no, your country can't buy the game. Boom. They got refunds. Imagine if they didn't. Well, that hypothetical doesn't matter because it didn't happen. So we have evidence that PlayStation can just block people from getting their game and there were no legal repercussions at all. So before the games come out, or let's say, for example, a game that is out, Tsushima. You buy Tsushima and you are playing it on Steam on your PC. You buy this new thing that Xbox brings to the market and it's blocked on there. What are you going to sue for? What's the impetus for the lawsuit? It's a piece of hardware that PlayStation has determined, no, we're not playing there. But we didn't agree to that. We brokered an agreement with Steam about showing up on Steam on PCs. That's not a PC. That's a new entity in the market. If it's a console PC hybrid and it's Xbox branded, they have every right to be like, that's not what we agreed to. That's why it would kick off a lawsuit, because you're still playing on Steam. I just don't know what kind of a lawsuit you think they would have. They can determine where the game can or cannot be played. These publishing terms of service and EULAs, they can just decide they don't want you playing their game and ban you, and there's nothing you can do about it. It happened to me in Destiny. I had no repercussions. There was no law. There was no way to sue. They can just go, boop, you're out. Stone Spire setting up a 10 bomb. He does a single. This guy is got to be the most famous and most consistent one to bait. You can sue. You chose not to. On what grounds? What's the grounds? That's what I'm asking. I don't even have a clue what you would sue for. I'm getting lawyer cancer, says Zubair. And a 10 bomb comes in from Brandon, and he takes it. Oh, I honestly thought Twitch was going to sneak in and take that one. I owe 5 to YouTube. Well done, Brandon. And hang on. I need to go here, and this needs to become 87. There we go. It sounds like you think I'm saying you'd win. So you're saying that people would do a frivolous lawsuit and lose? I'm just saying hardware blocking Like, if you have an AMD processor, you can't play our game. After it did run on your game, I'm saying someone could sue. But if you're saying someone could sue, and we know you can basically sue for anything, but then you're also saying that the lawsuit would probably not go anywhere and they wouldn't win, then what exactly is the point of saying it? I don't understand. $5 super chat from Siriu. Do people sue Netflix for region-locked programming? Yeah, I mean, you can subscribe to Netflix and then relocate and lose access to things. I guess, I don't know, that's a subscription service, so that probably falls into a different category. This is something that you purchased a license to play it. But the license is... The problem that you're always going to come back to, Ginger, the problem you're always going to come back to is that the license can quite literally be adjusted at any point in time at the discretion of the publisher. We know that legalese is in there. They can just be like, yeah, at any point in time we can be like, no, you can't play. And sure, you can get your money back through, Steam. Steam would honor the refund. Unless, of course, you get banned for cheating or something. But, like, if all of a sudden they just decided, yeah, we don't want AMD cards to be able to play this game. It doesn't run well. We're tired of supporting it. If you try to run it on a card, it won't work. If you try to run it on an AMD card, it won't work. Right? And I think that they can do that in the terms of service. Like, there's legalese in there to protect them. So the lawsuit goes nowhere because it's like, yeah, you bought a license. They revoked the license, essentially, and you got your money back. Now, I guess what you were saying is, if you didn't get your money back on Tsushima, because you could still play it over here, but you couldn't play it there because it's hardware locked, I guess that would be the pushback. Is they would just say, we have adjusted the license to determine that your license allows you to play it on anything but that. We've adjusted those. Again, we're talking hypotheticals. PlayStation might not give a crap about this because they know the hardware saturation of that Xbox device is not going to be worth any attention. They probably know that. I've always thought it's not a win either way. If they block PlayStation, it's not a win because then you're buying a device that you can't play PlayStation games on, so your Steam library is incomplete. If they don't block it, it's not a win because that's basically PlayStation saying this thing's this thing's a non-entity. We don't care. It's a nothing burger. In either scenario, it's not a W. If you want to thumb your nose at ponies on Twitter and be like, hey, we're playing your games on our Xbox, they'll be like, yeah, PlayStation doesn't care. Like, by the time that happens, they're gonna if they allow that, they're like, we don't care. You're nothing to us. You're not even competition anymore. That would be the posture if they don't stop it. PlayStation also doesn't have their games out day and date. I don't think the handheld's gonna have a big market. Yeah, I don't think it will either. It's gonna be like $800 to $900. PlayStation sold you a game. Same thing with Xbox games selling great on PlayStation. Okay. Let's really push this one, Ginger. I really wonder what you think about this. You bought a bunch of games, and I bought a bunch of games, and a lot of people bought a bunch of games on an Xbox that will not play on something that is being labeled and called an Xbox. Wouldn't this be grounds for the lawsuit you're talking about? Where, hey, I bought this game to play on Steam on a PC. I bought this thing that's a PC with Steam, and I can't play it because PlayStation blocked it. I'm suing. They're selling an Xbox right now. It's called an Xbox ROG Ally X, and it can't play games that you bought on your Xbox. Hypothetical? Someone could sue for that. I'm not saying they could. I'm just saying that's like analogous to what we're talking about here. It's like they're calling it an Xbox, and it's like, but you can't even play the Xbox games on it that you bought. Let's clarify. What makes it a hybrid is the software, not the hardware. Right. But also, with the Xbox ROG, I do think they'll work on getting those games into play anywhere, but time will tell. what games can't be played. Anything that's not a part of the Play Anywhere program, which is a very, very big list. I can't list them all, homie. Like Metasbo, you have to understand, and you might not be aware of this. I'm literally trying to inform people about this. You might not be aware. When you buy that Xbox ROG Ally X, there's about 1,000 Play Anywhere games you can play on it. Everything else you cannot. So the list is bigger of not playable. Like games that don't play on it is bigger than the list that's playable. Right now, you go to the store and you buy an Xbox Series X and you log in with your account and all your stuff's there. You're not up to date? I'm helping. That's why I keep bringing this up to people, because people don't know. And it's not your fault. The marketing has been very misleading. I'm going to do a whole video on this. Trust me. Sarah Bond used a phrase in their presentation about this that was so stinking misleading. They're the kings at saying something that's technically true to leave you with the false impression. She said you can play games all across your Xbox library. It's like, huh? You know how many people are going to hear that and think, oh, I can play my library on it? You can play games all across your Xbox library. And the average consumer is going to say, oh, I can play my Xbox library on it. It's so easy to misunderstand what she said. It's extremely easy. Eugene says there are games that you've bought that you're allowed to play on PCs, but you can't play on GeForce Now. I guess that would be different, right? Because that's a service. GT5 King, thanks for 8 months. And he bumps the line by 1. Always love to see a good Agent of Chaos get the member count off of a nice, pretty number. Thank you so much, sir. Siriu, I can play games all across the PlayStation library. You can. You totally can. You can. On that ROG Ally X, dude. It's true. I mean, imagine if PlayStation would have come out and said that. With the cloud when they added it to Portal. You'll be able to play games all across your library right from the cloud. And people are like, oh, wow, I can play my library through the cloud? No, you can't. That's what I literally thought, says Emmanuel. This is misleading. Also, Play Anywhere doesn't mean it's on Game Pass. Aren't they this? They're one and the same, right? Play Anywhere games are on Game Pass, are they not? I cannot tell you what she said, what Sarah Bond said, but I can tell you the shade and the pattern of them pants she was rocking. Yo, those pants were awesome. I mean, she's always got really, really great outfits. Like, you know, it's part of the job, right? It's why Phil Spencer always has great jackets. No, not all of them. Oh, I thought it was an exact overlap, like a Play Anywhere game was a Game Pass game. Answer the question. Is Xbox, while it's Windows, it's still a custom setup? Here's the real question, Ginger. If the software is, if the operating system of this hybrid is completely and utterly different, would that then would that mean you can't classify it as a PC? And if you can't classify it as a PC, that would make the lawsuit even harder, because it's like, it's not even a PC, it's something different. You know what I mean? It's a console. Sarah Bond is the hottest thing to come to Xbox all gen, respectfully. Respectfully. Stop it. We all know she's a baddie. I mean, it's just, we don't need to fixate on it. She knows she's a baddie. I don't think she's ignorant to that fact. She knows she looks good. I don't think she looks in the mirror and is like, I'm a 7. I don't think you're giving her any new information when you tell her she's hot. She's like, yeah, and what else you got to say? You know what I'm saying? Xbox has already dropped the term console. Some girls are like that. Not her. Come on. Ain't no way. Ain't no way that she's like, yeah, I'm not pretty. She wouldn't do that false humility crap. She'd be like, yeah, I know I'm a baddie. So what? What are we doing? Where are we dropping, boys? You know what I'm saying? She wouldn't care. Console war is a micro level now. We're arguing the technicalities of operating systems. What's your position on platform exclusivity out of interest? I support exclusivity because it gives me, because I get good games. Now, here's what I don't like. I don't like when it's a third-party game, multi-platform, and somebody swoops in and pays for like exclusive DLC or like the stuff they did with Hogwarts Legacy. I don't like that because it's like, what are we doing? You just give everybody the same thing. If it's a multi-plat, it's a multi-plat. Don't play these weird games. Don't play these snipe jobs where you're like, yeah, and some of that is ours. No, it's dumb. But if it's an exclusive, like let's say Death Stranding 2, I fully support that. PlayStation's, shouldering publishing, shouldering the marketing. They're getting Kojima to work with Decima and Guerrilla. You're getting a better product because of that. Like the argument that like exclusivity is anti-consumer is just so narrow. It's pro-consumer when it results in something as good as we've seen in Death Stranding 2. That is at the level that it's at because all Kojima had to focus on was, let's get this to run incredibly well on the PS5. And we know Decima pairs very well with PS5. We also know it's a great engine in general. So that's a relationship. That's an exclusive. That's an effort from PlayStation. I'm going to get a great product out of that. So you can't call that anti-consumer. It's pro-consumer because I'm getting a great product if I'm willing to buy it. All the people that buy it are getting great value transmission because of that. You can't unknit that from the sweater and be like, oh no, it would be just as good if they developed it multi-plat. No, there's literally no way that's true. That's demonstrably untrue. As many developers have said, building for one system helps us build a better game. So I draw the line though. If it's a multi-plat, just make it a multi-plat. Don't do this crap where you buy levels or skins that you can only get on one platform. I hate that. That's weird and disruptive, and you're like slicing pieces of the art off. But if you're going to enter a relationship with the studio and you're going to pay for the game and you're going to invest in that studio and they're publishing the game and you're marketing the game so it's on your platform and the development cycle is shorter, more focused, and it's more innovative because they can stretch. Now, sometimes they go too far, like FF16 on the PS5. I thought they went too far. They overshot, and then performance mode was bad because they were like, we really want to show off the power of the PS5, and they went too full. Ginger says, be everywhere or be somewhere specific. Fully agreed. Yeah, which is why I fully support timed exclusivity. I do. I think you get a better product. The guy on PC who bought Tsushima, the guy on PC who's going to buy Death Stranding 2 in like 18 months or whenever it shows up, he's getting a better product than he would have if they would have like forced it multi-plat and like shrunk the window to get it out into the public faster. Well, we got to make these deadlines, and then you get a better product when it's like they build it as amazingly as they can over here, and then you get a really good porting company like Nixxes to bring it to PC. All of the consumers that buy that product get a better product. They get a very high quality product. That to me is great. I don't have any issue with that at all. Imagine if Spider-Man had come to PC day and date. It would have made your PC catch fire. Yeah, it would. Yeah, and they rushed it and it was bad. The port was bad because they rushed it. My only pushback I'll give you on time exclusivity is you missed the hype scale. Being that we don't have universal A/B testing to see, I think FF16 would have sold better if it also released on PC. No, I don't disagree with that at all. I think if you would have ended that sentence with Xbox, I'd have been like, no. But PC, I agree with you. Yes. But again, the timeline and the game, and look at it still had optimization issues even when it only landed on PS5. So if it would have been on PC at the same time, it would have if it would have been on PC and PS5 at launch, I'm just going to assume it would have had issues. Is Spider-Man in better shape on PC now? Hellfire, I forgot to thank you. 23 months on Twitch. What's the Stormtrooper's favorite store? The one next to Target. Oh my gosh. You always have the best bad jokes ever. And by that I mean they're the worst. They're the absolute worst. And you're the worst. I'm just kidding. Thank you so much for resubbing. No, Xbox is trained for Game Pass, so it would have sold more, yes, but PC hype train really hurt sales of FF16, in my opinion. You say hurt sales, but 3 million is a great number. FF16 did great. I mean, plenty of other games have hit that number and have been celebrated. FF16 hitting 3 million. I don't think that's a number that's like, oh my gosh, it did so terrible. Yeah, sure, they would have gotten another, you know, I don't even know how many, 1 million or 2 or whatever on PC if they would have done day and date. But then again, it's really, really difficult to do that because you would have had to create a context where they were doing parallel development. How many millions did they lose out on? Here's the problem with your hypothetical. It wouldn't have come out at that time. You and I both know, you're more experienced in the field than me, and you know firsthand, if they would have done parallel development on FF16, its release date would have been about a year later or more. So it's hard to even know. People wait that long for the game, and then they're going to expect it to be amazing and not have any problems because they had to wait longer. Because your time to market is going to have an impact on expectations. That happens all the time with games. When you wait 6 or 7 years for a game, you're going to be like, dude, this thing better be amazing. It better be flawless. We waited almost, a decade for it. T-Man Grow with 11 months. Thank you so much for resubbing. Fair point. More time. Higher expectations. Same for increasing the price of games. You know the other issue with it taking more time, Ginger? Let's just say they would have sold more copies. They might have made less money because now the budget's more expensive. Like, there's just such a delicate balance here. That's why when people are like, oh, time exclusivity is so poor, consumer, and it's like, but so they would have done that, and then they would have maybe risked making less money because now the budget got bigger than they maybe originally planned, and now they're trying to sell copies of the game, and they sell a good amount, but it's like, well, we sold more, but we made less because the budget got inflated by taking an extra year and a half to bring it to market. I think porting is more effective and probably cheaper because then the devs can move on to a new project while somebody like Nixxes or somebody handles. I think Square handles their own PC ports though, don't they? I don't think they. Yeah, Square handles their own. It doesn't even have. I mean, it's 79% on Steam. 79% on Steam. I mean, I would say that also probably is demonstrative of the fact that it probably has performance issues. That's my assumption. FF16 has performance issues basically everywhere. I think they pushed it too hard. I think they pushed it too far. I think focusing on console first is just faster, trying to figure out the endless PC setups. I think concurrent development can make later ports easier, so it's helpful to keep an eye towards that even when you have a 2-year console exclusive. Well, that's related to one of the things I've said though, Zuby, with the way that Mark Cerny has handled PlayStation architecture. I'm not kidding you, that the Pro, I said it was going to be disruptive, and no, we've not seen the waves haven't hit the shore yet. I think you're going to see a ton of studios prefer developing for PS5 first. You're not going to need to pay them money. You're not going to need to enter into deals. They're just going to say, we love building for that platform. We love it. They listen to us. They've given us great tools. The dev kits are great. The Pro is great. Project Amethyst. The runway into PlayStation 6. Going into PlayStation 6, I think there's just going to be so many developers that are like, we love building for them first. Their platform is just better to build for. You start getting into Xbox releasing a PC hybrid. Well, and it's not going to be this huge in-demand device. Their hardware is already not in a great spot. You're just not going to have anybody want to build for that first. They're always going to consider you secondary. You're always going to be additive in their mind. There's so many advantages to developing for a closed ecosystem. especially a closed ecosystem that listens to you. When do you think Sony drops the PS6? 2028 at the earliest. I know everybody's really upset that they brought up the PS6, but it's like it's perfectly natural for them to bring up the PS6 because we're past the halfway part of the gen. How long do you think they take to build one of these things? The one guy did an interview and he said we can spin up this kind of tech in 3 to 5 years when he was speaking about the Pro. It took him 4 years to build or whatever. So 3 to 5 years. So obviously right now, if they start talking about the PlayStation 6 in 3 years, that's 2028. Right? 3 to 5 years. So somewhere between 2028 and 2030, that thing's going to land. So that's why they're talking about it now. They're not going to whip that thing up in 5 months, like at the very tail end of the gen. They got to start working on it now. And it likely is going to yield results from Project Amethyst. Because Project Amethyst is going to give them a way to yield more performant results with less raw power. Because that's kind of the future of computing your graphics, is you can't just keep pushing raw power. You got to use AI. They're all doing it. The depreciating returns on raw power is here. What's Project Amethyst? I have never heard of it yet. Huh? What? That was a thing did you miss the when was that, boys? So Cerny did a presentation. It was in the wake of the PS5 Pro, and he announced the partnership with AMD for Project Amethyst. And one of the first results of Project Amethyst was that update that they pushed out to FSR. And everybody was like very impressed by it. And essentially what they were saying is like, this is the first result of this. It was sort of born out of the Pro. Moore's second law. The cost is exponential to get the jump in performance. Right. Amethyst is the reason FSR4 is so good. Right. So around the time that FSR4 came out, it was getting all this praise. Cerny does a presentation and says, this is one of the first things that has yielded from Project Amethyst. So basically, what they learned in developing PSSR for the Pro was instructive for the machine learning that they're using in advances within AMD stuff. So it's this symbiotic relationship between AMD and Sony. Oh, you've been away from the news cycle. Yeah, you and my source. Okay, so I didn't cover this recently. We covered this a while ago. So at this point, Project Amethyst is kind of old news. I'm trying to think. When did they announce it? Sony unveils Project Amethyst. It was late last year. Yeah, it was like December of last year. So Sony announced their collaboration with AMD. And then I think there was another time, like earlier this year, they said FSR4 is one of the first results of this. T-Man Grove, did you just do that? Did I miss that? The Prime sub on Twitch? You completely missed that? Yeah. So the current theory is, Ginger, is that going into PlayStation 6, Project Amethyst is, to me, going to be, I've called it cartilage between the gens. So everybody that's right now tapping into PSSR on the Pro, that technology is going to be present on the 6, which means you're going to see just automatic upticks in every game that hits the 6 if you've been leveraging PSSR, the advanced ray tracing, and whatever Project Amethyst yields in the realm of better machine learning for the upscaling in particular. So, yeah, the benefits are FSR is going to keep improving. When FSR improves, it'll improve whatever they're doing on PlayStation. I subbed on Twitch, celebrated on YouTube. Okay, let me give you credit for that. And then Joker Quinn is going to bump us to a 20 bomb tempt. We are at 255. We are 20 away from the next milestone. A 20 bomb could steal it. This is the easiest time to steal because most people don't think that you will. Thank you, Joker Quinn. Yeah, you got Garrett back in. Nice. I highly expect all the SOC work will really dive into AI and keep gaming prices reasonable while getting performance. FSR4 and PSSR are using the same outputs from the game to function. Even if the flavor is a little different, there is a lot of knowledge that can be shared. AMD historically has been against AI upscaling, and it wasn't until AMD worked with Sony on the Pro that they changed their stance. AMD has said they began with FSR4 using AI upscaling because of the Pro. As I said, the PS5 Pro will be disruptive. Yo, what's good, feed? That's pretty disruptive. 20 months from Milwaukee, or Milwaukee. Thank you so much. It sounds like I'm saying Milwaukee with an accent or something. Milwaukee. 256. Oops. Frame gen is dog water. Frame gen will be great if it can be paired with something like NVIDIA Reflex. If you can trick my brain into thinking I'm seeing 60 frames and there's no input latency, if you remove the input latency so I can't tell, that's the wizardry that will happen. The marriage between things like NVIDIA Reflex and frame gen, that's where you have to have that intersection so that you will have no clue that you're playing a game where everything's basically tricking your brain. I have said that I think things like frame gen and NVIDIA Reflex, if they can advance in the way that I'm hoping they advance, you'll be able to buy a handheld in like 5 or 7 years. You'll be able to buy a handheld, and you're just going to assume that it runs 1440 60 all the time. You're not even going to question it. If frame gen and the NVIDIA Reflex can get to a better place. Right now, if you use frame gen to get to 60, it just doesn't work. It makes the game feel terrible because half the frames aren't real, so it creates all this input latency and input lag. So there would have to be some significant advancements to improve those things. What is this? Who just sent me this? Marvel Rivals drama. The marketing team is increasing the watch time cost of drops by 50%. They're testing the waters to see if we'll care if they up the Twitch drop watch time. In a year, they'll do the same. They'll be the same length as Overwatch 2 drops that take a minimum of 8 hours to obtain, often 2/5 of the skin. If the community pushes back now, it won't get worse. The official tweet. Leave my name out of it, please. I'm not clicking on that tweet. That feels like somebody's trying to get me to click on something. We're gonna keep streaming, but I need a break. I've been going for 3.5 hours. I wasn't even watching the time. We've been having such good conversations. Okay, I will be right back. I'm going to run an ad on both platforms. Oh, I can't run an ad on Twitch. We must have run one recently. So I'm going to run an ad on YouTube. You guys are the absolute best. Do me a favor on YouTube. Smash the like. We want to try to land around 400 likes every single day. Okay? I'll be right back. Oh. This guy says, you consumers are stupid AF, bend over and get F hard, parroting bushy, slow degenerates. We have a troll? I don't think we have a troll. I think he needs help. Did somebody hit you in the head with a shovel today? How many fingers am I holding up? Golly. Explain how FrameGen can get better. Who's watching this tool? I mean, early iterations of DLSS were terrible. Early iterations of FSR were terrible. The early iteration of FrameGen, when you double from 30 to 60, is terrible. It can be great in other contexts. Like, technology tends to improve with time. I'm not saying it will. I'm saying that if they get FrameGen and technology like... If you get technology like FrameGen and NVIDIA, something like NVIDIA Reflex to work together, you could end up with very, very good results. I don't know, you're barely typing in sentences that make sense, and you're acting like you're the smart one. That's always an interesting thing to me. It's like, I don't know how much Cheeto dust is in your keyboard, but golly, dude, like you're barely typing sentences that make sense. As Eugene said, there's a limit if you always have to wait for another frame. A predictive frame gen may be a better solution, but we aren't there yet. That's what I mean. Yeah, it's somebody on YouTube. That's what I mean. Like, you're imagining frame gen will just stay exactly as it is now. Like, it will likely improve and get better. I don't think that's insane to say. Like, that's kind of the way it goes. Um, 36 or frame gen won't ever be good. I don't think you can make that kind of an all-encompassing statement. I mean, you don't know what kind of advancements they could get. There's inherent delay that you can't work around. They totally could come up with new versions of it. They totally could. I don't know. To act as if they could never figure it out, I just think is like, I'm not willing to go there. That's so like you're. It's like super like far reaching to be like, no, they'll never figure it out. I'm like, maybe. I mean, I feel like they could. They used FrameGen to go from 30 to 60, and it nearly made Lono have a stroke playing it. It was a bad experience. Yeah, it's terrible in Black Myth Wukong. It is terrible. FrameGen requires waiting on the next frame to insert the fake frame. There is a time delay. You can't do anything about time. But again, with AI and the way they can do predictive things with like what they do with NVIDIA Reflex, I would imagine there's ways to make that negligible. What's Black Math? Black Myth? Black Meth? It's Black Myth. This aged well, my Monster Hunter video. Defense Force came strong at this vid, though. My Elden Ring Night Rain video suddenly is getting a bunch of comments again. I'm like, I don't know why you guys are all in here so angry. You didn't even play it. I don't have to drive the car to know that I don't want to drive if it's missing basic features. Like, you can't talk about the car until you drive it. I can talk about the fact that the car is missing basic features, which is what I did. I talked about the fact that Elden Ring Night Rain is missing basic features. Someone made a video about it. Oh, about my Elden Ring video? I'm sure they treated it very fairly and listened to the entire context of the video and were charitable and kind. I bet that's what they did. Let me know if you need any Halo comments. I'm busy at the moment, but could do an hour of them later. No, I don't need that. Night Rain is not very positive. Is not very positive on Steam? Elden Ring Night Rain Steam charts. Like, listen, it's been successful. The video doesn't even argue that it wouldn't be successful. My argument was it should have flopped. If any other game tried to do this, people would have been livid. Any news on partnership? I haven't heard anything yet. I'm assuming it's because it's being looked at by an actual person. It's holding strong. My video is, that's what people don't understand about my video. My video is not a review of the game. My video is a criticism of From Software. It's like, if any other studio tried to pull this off, people would have been absolutely livid. They're like, no voice chat, no crossplay, what the frick? No duos? Yeah, the player base numbers are fine. And that's what people don't understand. They don't understand nuance. I literally say in the video, it's been successful. Tons of people are playing. I acknowledge that. I'm saying, listen, they earned this through their past work. You keep doing this, and eventually people are going to say, you keep shipping games without modern amenities, and it'll stop working. It will. It'll stop working. You can get away with this a handful of times. There were a lot of people that were really unpleased with Elden Ring Night Rain's launch state. And they were like, what the heck? No duos, not tuned for solo. It was so poorly tuned for solo, they scrambled and pushed out like 3 to 4 patches in 3 days. And it was like, oh my, why? Because they were getting pushback. If any other studio would have done that, they wouldn't have had the goodwill to burn. The game would have just failed. That's the whole point of the video is not to bash the game or to review the game. That defense force, the defense force for these games, they get so immediately butthurt, they don't even listen to what you're saying. It's like, I'm giving them credit. It's like they've built up such a fan base and so much trust that this game is still doing well. And I've not once did I say, it's trash, it sucks, it's bad, don't play it. It's just like... And the same thing happened with Monhun Wilds. The defense force for Monster Hunt Wilds came from my video, and they got really mad, and they brigaded it, and they were like, oh, your game's fine, you're an idiot. And it's like, look at its score. What are you talking about? This is everything wrong with video games, is that we want to rake games over the coals when it's like some new studio who has the audacity to, like, their lead character is a bald woman, and, like, people lose their mind over that. But they'll sit here and they'll lap up and praise and cheer for a game that launches in a state that it shouldn't launch in. It's like, all right. I'm having a good time. You know, that's always the defense. I'm having fun. People are having fun. It seems like the rematch gameplay is will work here. I think. We could try multiple different versions. Are any of you actually playing? Is Borderlands 4 going to be Pro Enhanced? I think it's listed as Pro Enhanced, isn't it? I thought it was. Borderlands 4 PlayStation Store. No, it's not No, it's not. I'm honestly okay with that. It's not listed as PS5 Pro Enhanced. Is it listed as Pro Enhanced somewhere else? I don't see it on the two listings I just found. I don't see it. I don't know what you would enhance, to be honest with you. Can you grab the camera for a Lamar Jackson edit? What? Yeah, I don't know what you would advance. I don't know what you would enhance in Borderlands 4. I mean, I guess the resolution, or maybe like a higher frame rate mode or something. Oops. I'm using the wrong keyboard again. What hashtag are they using? Are they using... They might be using play rematch, are they? No, they're not. Okay. I'm not seeing it anywhere. All right, I'm probably going to be no good at this game, but I think it's going to be good to showcase like a non-sports player, casual player, just like checking out rematch because, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are going to be curious about it, and I think it has a lot of potential. All right, see you, Ginger. Good discussions, man. We did get this from Adam King. I didn't see this. Finally had my eureka moment with Horizon Zero Dawn recently after not touching it for a few years. Any game besides Death Stranding and Returnal that had the same effect on you? Hollow Knight. I started with Hollow Knight a bunch of times, and somebody gave me advice on how to start it. And yeah, I ended up loving that. Have you ever considered getting a KVM? I don't know what's that. Oh, is that one of those buttons you push and it like allows you to switch from one keyboard or one mouse to another? Okay. Let me set up redirect here. Them's the ones. Yeah, I suppose I could get one. I don't think Horizon's one of the most, if not unappreciated PlayStation IPs, I think. If you look at the sales reports and how successful it's been, I don't think you would think that. It's actually been insanely successful. People just constantly talk about it as if it's like, stop trying to make Horizon a thing. It's like, they're not trying. They've already succeeded. You're just not paying attention to the sales reports. Yeah, next week is Death Stranding. Wait. Yeah, next week's Death Stranding. I got like a week and a half to finish Expedition 33. I got to kind of hustle. Okay. Console audio 2. Oh, I know what I've got. Hang on. There we go. All right, let's make sure we can get into a match. I don't remember any of the controls either. This is going to be an utter disaster. I should probably do the tutorial first, but the problem is I don't think anybody's going to want to see that when they click on a gameplay stream. All right, we're going to go for it. I'm going to spam a link in chat, and I'm going to redirect you guys. Hey, thanks so much for checking out this video. I am going to be doing my absolute best to play some rematch for you here. I just got into a match, and I did not... Oh, my camera's not inverted. I did not want to have it not working because there has definitely been some issues with... there's been some issues with the servers. And I wanted to make sure it works. I'm going to end the previous stream and redirect folks over. And we're going to see if we can't make this work. I played the tutorial, and I think this game has got a